All right, everybody. The mic's on? Is the mic on?
Yes, the mic is on.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cyber Talk.
Where the fuck are we?
I'm your co-host, Grave Robber, and we have another co-host.
I am Glitch.
And we have our special guests today. Will you please introduce yourselves?
This is the Neo version. Hello, my name is Angel Grips, and freelance mech and tech, but not working now.
And here with zero voice, but all the sass, Rill. Hello. Sounding a lot more like the actual Joan Rivers now.
Right? I got that hoarse, like, smoker's voice.
I had a sinus infection that went into my throat. It is not the Rona. I got tested, so we good. Just I sound a little raspy.
Rocco.
Oh, Rocco.
So today's episode is going to be a little different, as you guys can see. We're going to do basically a talk about Neotropolis. So if you didn't get to go this year, or if you did get to go this year, drop us some comments, ask some questions. Myself and Real and Angel Grits all went to Neotropolis, but Commodore 69 here did not actually go.
That's
So-
grave robber.
Grave robber. We have your name up there as Commodore 69.
I know, but I'm not, that's fine. No,
You are wearing the grave robber outfit. That's true. Whatever. So anyway, yeah, just let us know what any questions you guys have about Neotropolis. If you went, if you didn't go, what are your thoughts on it? What could they do better? What would you like to see improved? You know, what ideas do you have for the next event? Do you have some crazy character idea, something like that? And we're just gonna kind of go from there. So
I'm still saying links out to people, so just bear with me.
I'll start with Angel Grips over there. So obviously for all of us, this was the first year of Neo. But what made you want to go to the Neo?
I've never been to an infant event before. I've never been to something where it was the first step off the ground. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I bought my ticket back in, 2020 or, late
Yeah, I did the
2019.
same. Because I felt the same way. Like, I had not... Wasteland, I missed the first year. I knew of it, and I didn't go. And then lots of other events. Renaissance Fair I've been doing for a long time. Never got a chance to go to the first, obviously. Yeah. So that was important for me, too. Yeah.
It was pretty intimidating at first. I mean, apart from the fact that everyone who's had, a dozen years of doing Wasteland costuming and all this practical application in, something that's camera ready, and then suddenly you throw electricity on it, and pretty much anything goes.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I really want to see people take off on this. I really want to see what's happening. And even though I had zero idea of a concept, because cyberpunk, neo, dystopian isn't necessarily my aesthetic that comes to me naturally, but then after COVID years, and then suddenly all these people that had small concepts of ideas turned to huge realized ideas, and I was pretty intimidated going to Neo, to be honest. Like, I didn't know what to expect, but I figured it was gonna be cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I had a similar where I was feeling like a lot of people definitely, there were definitely people who used all of the time available. Because obviously, like, they planned the event pre-COVID, and I bought my ticket back in, 2019, and the event was supposed to happen in, April of 2020. And then obviously it got pushed. But some people used that entire 2 years to build these crazy outfits. Go ahead.
So we got basically some comments on Flea's Facebook.
Yes.
Got Santos going, just remember, 10 minutes late is still 5 minutes early in Tooch time.
Oh!
There's okay. We'll touch on that later.
We're already getting started.
You're not wrong.
And then we got Matt Ryder going, go dock yourself, Neo. Neanderthal. And then we got Tony W. Miller going, hey y'all.
Well, hey y'all.
And we got Kip saying, hey there all.
What's going on?
Obviously, I'm the one oddball out here. Like, I did not go to Neotropolis. I did not go to Neotropolis this year.
He's a busy motherfucker.
Busy motherfucker. And the dates were just too crammed to other events I already made promises to.
So, of course, that was the main reason that we wanted to have Real and Angel on here, because, I mean, if it's only me talking about my experience, it's only kind of a one-sided conversation, but I want to hear about their experiences, and then, of course, we want to hear about the audience experiences, and whatever questions you might have. And so, I'll put the same question to you, Real. What made you want to go to Neo?
Well, much like Angel Grips, a lot of the allure was like an infant event, something that's, you don't have to feel bad being a first timer. Maybe your aesthetic isn't quite what you want it to be, because literally everyone's a first timer. But then also kind of played in a little bit. It's not. I don't have a big costuming or event base in cyber dystopian, but I feel like it kind of tickled on a bunch of random little niggles from my life. Like, I used to be a fucking raver back in the day, so I like that kind of music. I like, part Asian, full weeb, so obviously, that scratched another itch for me. And then just kind of the general aesthetic. I like branching out into something different. So it kind of gives you the option to break out things like, a silverness, which maybe doesn't work entirely with, Wasteland, but at Neo, it's just dandy. So, yeah.
And
That's
he does look fucking amazing from the picture.
Oh
Oh,
God,
yeah.
would you just start?
I'll keep going. We'll extend it. Foreplay is a thing.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
or things like wearing all white outfits in the desert. At Wasteland, unless you're big disco, generally not a good look. But
Yeah.
if you're being corpo people on Friday night, then that's it's something you can get away with any.
Oh man, when I got home and looked at all my shit, I'm like, this is way dirtier than I thought it was.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like when you're out there, you have that little bit of that
We had
mask.
people stopping us like, it's so brave to wear all white in the desert. Like, what are you talking about? It's just white. And then you like sit down in plain light. You're like, oh God. What I spill ketchup on me? Jesus.
Damn.
So we got
It's
Gilly
like
watching,
stains all
saying, hey, and then
Really?
Tony goes, he's pretty much sitting on a towboat in Columbia, Illinois, watching.
Oh wow. Okay. Towboat.
Yeah, hello from Columbia.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So that works.
So, like, what events happened? Like, were there any, like, particular bands? Like, I take it Attack was there or not there?
Most of the members attended. They were not there as a band. They didn't perform.
Yeah, they didn't perform as a band. A lot of the bands were more like electronica, like 80s new wave, German industrial.
All right. Oh, that actually sounds cool.
Explosion of neon lasers and jet skis and
Mhm.
it's just so much coke. No, kidding.
no.
no.
They had a keytar.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of
wow.
the bands had a keytar.
There you go. Now it's 80s.
Oh god.
Now it's 80s, right? You gotta have the keytar.
Oh, yes.
Like, as far as music is concerned, while I didn't see any like big stage shows or noted any particular DJs, there was, I have to make mention, and if you guys ever see this, by all means chime in. There was the corner band, the garbage band.
Oh, that was fantastic.
I don't know if you guys saw that. They literally had this big trolley they rolled up with, and there was like just buckets and scrap and all sorts of crap in there. And then a guy with a guitar, and they started just blasting out with pretty much the entire suite of Zelda songs.
Oh, nice.
Like they were doing like Circle of Storm, or not Circle of Storm, Song of Storms, and they were doing like Serious Song, a bunch, and they were killing it. Like, it was good.
Nice.
And that was outside of the impromptu bazaar, which I'm sure will end up.
Yeah, that was great. Like as I was walking into Mega Block 1, it was probably Friday or Saturday morning, and they had that guy with the guitar and the junk band. Yeah, I loved that bit for sure.
They were killing it. They were out there for like a solid hour, just
Oh, yeah.
beating it up.
Fucking A. Yeah, I figured, Adder pointed something out a little while back when he was originally mentioned about the event. I want to see if you guys have the same opinion. Basically, he compared, like, in the daytime, it really felt pretty much like Wasteland. It didn't feel like a Neotropolis dystopian until nightfall when all the lights and
Definitely.
shit
Yeah.
happened.
Definitely.
It's absolutely a night event, which actually I'm pretty sure they were Saturday night. They were pumping until good 4 in the morning. 5, like
Oh, easy,
people were
easy.
moving on that.
Damn.
And I think that's kind of the, it's kind of par for the course, at least I'm feeling as much, because you're right, it's very much a nighttime event. Wasteland, great at night, everyone loves it, but there's so much more lore and play and things to do that everyone's familiar with, so there's a lot more to occupy your time.
Yeah.
However, I think a few people kind of had, myself included, issues when you put all this mental energy into building a night outfit, and they go, "Oh shit, what am I gonna wear when the sun's up?"
Yep. I definitely had that problem myself. Yeah, because I mean, I like my main part of my outfit was like this coat, but a lot of it's done in like this black light paint, and it just didn't quite catch the eye as much during the day.
No, I thought that a good way to go was with not only just the neon bits, but some of that like reflector tape type stuff, like that you'll have on like construction vests and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that might be a good way to go about bringing a little bit more eye draw to like a daylight ensemble.
Yeah. Do you think they could be adding, like, is there anything during the day that you think they could add to make it, like, so they have something to do during the day, so you're not just in your camp just hanging out?
Waiting for night.
Well, there was stuff to do,
Okay.
and Mega Block absolutely is, has shade and cover and stuff like that, so there's a lot more traffic in there during the day. But the little impromptu bazaar that happened, that card.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Basically, Santa's saying the Sentinels LARPing rocked the daytime. Props to them.
Word. Yeah, they looked pretty good.
I mean, there was definitely daytime activity. There was some missions. I would say a handful of them. But like, whereas at Wasteland, like it seems like every camp is handling a mission. This is the first year of the event,
Right.
so definitely some camps had them, but not everybody knew exactly what to do or how to complete it. And then there was only a handful of them. So over time, I think that we will, of course, add more stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much interested in maybe checking it out next year. It looks pretty fun from the photos and videos I've seen. I just gotta think of ideas and shit.
Well, and honestly, some people were kind of tagging on it like, well, it's not as big as Wasteland. There's not as much to do. This and that. But honestly,
It was only 4 days.
but I kind of liked the fact that it was smaller because number one, it made me feel like it reminded me of my first year at Wasteland 2014 when it was a much smaller event. And
Yeah.
the nice thing, whereas Wasteland, yeah, it's big. There's a million things to do, blah blah blah. But there's people that you never run into because it is so big and there's so many people and there's so much going on. Everyone's being pulled 18 different directions. So because Neo was a smaller event, I really like the fact that you can run into some people that you almost never get to spend like 5 minutes with, and you actually get prolonged hangout time. That was pretty nice.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for me too, like it pushed me out of my comfort zone as far as who I normally camp with. And it forced me to have a little bit different experience camping with a different group of people too.
Oh, the entire time I've been going to Wasteland, every year since 2014, I've never not been with a camp. And I've never been out in the sticks and the free camping. So number one, that was just a different experience. I'm like, okay. So number one, it's kind of nice.
Nerd.
Well, but it was nice because as much as I love my people, I love my tribe. When you're camping right behind the Mushroom Cloud Lounge for so many years in a row, you forget what it's like to I can fall asleep. There's not the sound of music blasting and generators and people being, drunken fucks. Like, I can actually lay down and, I can sleep. That's what sleep is. Oh, that's nice. that's weird. That's good.
Except for Sandstorm. We had a really cool neighbor. We had a really cool neighbor that for some reason,
my God.
as shtick and as cliche as it was, he's just sitting there with a big old speaker just pumping Sandstorm into like the wind, just like.
So the first 2 days, Thursday and Friday,
Nobody out there.
the W was pretty good. It was pretty strong. And then our neighbors, Camp Hoff.
It's good shit.
I mean, because it's kind of, theme appropriate. They said that old Darude Sandstorm song. And literally, it's like Friday morning, I think we woke up and they're blasting that shit. I'm like, oh shit, is that Sandstorm? And then they just got a fucking boombox and we're walking around the event. Every time we get a big wind gust, they would run up to people just like, do-do-do-do-do, like, oh shit, is that Sandstorm?
like stupid as shtick, honestly, because they played Sandstorm like 3 times that morning. They played that. They also played another song. They broke it up for a split second. I think it might have been a musical. I can't remember. But then Sandstorm came back on, and we're kind of like
every
lying
single
there.
time we're like, oh shit, is that Sandstorm?
We're like, not every time. The first time we're like, we're still deciding whether or not we're gonna get pissed about this.
Well, because we woke up hungover, and it's like the second or third time they played it, I'm like, I'm either gonna love our neighbors or I'm gonna fucking hate them. Then they played it again, like, okay.
All right, never mind. and they were getting such good responses because they were doing that all day. Just run up to anywhere. It's like, by the way, dance break. Just completely unannounced. They just walk in, cranked up. And I was like, oh shit! That part where it goes. Oh, I love that. Love that.
It's one of those songs
Slaps
you're gonna get
every time.
It's either I love you or I'm gonna fucking punch you.
I think it had been long enough since I'd heard it.
So we got Commander Bacon watching, saying how's it going, and then we got Scotty basically. It does look interesting. Was there like any space bounty hunting, kind of like with a bounty hunter, like with Rust Devils?
There was. I didn't actually participate in any of it.
You not participating in bounty hunting? Nah.
Right.
I'm actually shocked.
But there was a bounty hunting thing where you could, I think the Sentinels were looking for certain targets and you could help the Sentinels catch them. But a lot of times it wasn't just the person, it was an item that the person had.
I don't know. If they're getting counted by the Sentinels, it's probably G-Lax. saw a couple Sentinels try to plant evidence on a few people.
Yeah. Ducky was like, I can imagine someone just going up to them and be like, hey, how does that one song go? You know, the one about sand?
Santos. Hey, the weapons contest happened in the daytime, right, Hatter?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk about that too. I mean, as long as Santos bring up, we did have a weapons contest, and I got to be a judge, and Santos got to be a judge, and then Tooch was supposed to be our third judge. Real, sorry. Real was supposed to be. It's gonna keep happening. I'm gonna end up doing it. I'm so used to the other names, but Real was supposed to be our third judge, but it ended up being that misinformation stepped in.
To be fair. To be clear and fair, number one, there's a thing called Wasteland time, where nothing ever fucking starts on time at Wasteland. So I assumed that would carry over to Neo. So I did get there like literally 2 minutes late. I had my watch on me, and also there was important things going on in the tent. I had to play a very important game of Scrabble. You know, you can't just skip on that. Yeah. And no, I was late for those reasons. Leave me alone. Stop yelling at me.
You're not my dad.
You're not my
Right?
dad.
You're not my real dad.
Don't slut shame me. Don't Scrabble shame me.
Scrabble shaming, I like the sound of that. Let's see, Gilly's like, it was amazing, already making plans for next year. Are you guys already making plans for next year? Like, hey, here's how I want to upgrade my outfit. Here's something I want to add. Here's something else I want to do.
Okay. The biggest curveball that was thrown. As someone who has been going to the event for several years now, I know the area, I know the general thing to plan for. I know it was a different time of year, and I checked the forecast. I realized it was going to be colder than we're used to. I've been on cold years. I have jackets. I get it. I didn't take into account the fucking W, adding that wind chill, and the fact that on Thursday, I have been through every weather condition at Wasteland except for rain.
And
Yeah.
that rain.
So Thursday night, that wind was fucking whipping. It was gusting. It got really fucking cold at night. So it was already cold and chilly and cold. And then it starts fucking raining. I'm like,
Oh, the rain.
So yeah,
Shit.
about that fucking rain. I warned this motherfucker, hey, you might want to be careful because like there's a chance it could rain out there. And he's like, it's a desert. And I'm like, yes,
That's
it
not
still
what
rains.
I said. I said it doesn't. I said it doesn't rain very often, and there's nothing in the weather report that says it's gonna rain.
We checked. There was weather reports that has a chance of rain.
Yeah, but it was a
And
small chance.
I know, but
It
you
was like a
kept,
10% or
but you
something.
kept
That
saying like it was
10%
completely
for, like,
flawless, and you did not even
6
heed the
hours.
fucking warning.
I was fine. Like I didn't need to like. Oh no, the rain's gonna ruin my time. Like it was fine.
And to be fair, it did not like piss and pour, and it wasn't
No.
rain, cats and dogs. It was like a drizzle, but it was a heavy, sustained drizzle.
Yeah,
And
for like a
bless-
couple hours. Yeah.
Bless this man's heart. He takes my ass back to 10 because I had I had ingested too many things that night. Was having on the precipice of a bad time. He's like stumbling my ass back to 10 at like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then he's out there in the wind gusts. He's like, oh shit, I should put the rain fly up. So he's out there trying to like in those rain gusts,
Yeah.
trying to put it up. So good on you, dude.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like
See, he was ready. He was ready.
with
I was
the
like,
W.
Stay moving, stay
Well, I
stay
think because
warm.
you laid me down in bed, and then I think you were trying to get in, and like a few big fat drops landed on us. He's like, shit. And then you got back up and went
Oh,
outside.
there was a hole that was ripped in the fly. That's what it was.
See, yeah, I had a similar problem where the W came through and it bent one of my tent poles when I was trying to set up my tent. So then I duct taped that pole back together. It held well enough. I'll have to replace it, obviously. But it held for the weekend. But once W's blowing through, I'm like, well, the W's blowing so rough that it's collapsing my tent. So same thing. I pull off the rain fly, and I'm just like, let the dust blow through. I've lived in this event. I don't care. Like,
At least
I-
my tent will still be here.
Yeah, my tent will still be here. I'll take anything valuable, put it in my car, and shut the door. And then my computer or my phone or my charger doesn't get dust in it. Fine. Put that in the car. It's no big deal. But then when the rain started coming, I was like, shit,
Yeah.
my clothes are sitting out in my tent
Mhm.
with no rain fly. So I gotta run back to my camp, grab my duffel bag full of clothes, and throw that in my car, shut the door, and then I went back and I was gonna go back and join the party, but then they were cutting the power, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I'm just like, well, screw it, I guess I'll go to sleep. And so I don't have I try to put the rain fly back up, but same thing, the W's just taking it
That
from
thing,
me.
man, like the first 2 nights, like you just fall asleep to the wind, just like smacking you against the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
And then the last night it finally died down enough.
So the
Yeah.
little trick that I went for and ended up going for that night was, and I guess just a cautionary tale. If nothing else, bring a few stakes and bring a tarp, just in case.
Yeah.
Because even though it is the desert, it can rain, and the only difference is once 8 o'clock rolls around, it's just as dry as it was before. Like nothing changed about that.
Yeah, that was the
But
thing.
I straight anchored my rainfly to my car because I had my car actually parked, and then the tent built right up to get as much of a wind block as we could.
Yeah.
And then I was like, right, so I'll attach it so on this side, but the majority of it was anchored to the car itself. So I'm like, nah, I don't even want to bother with it. I'm not gonna try to stake it. I'm not gonna try to. I don't need a parachute.
Yeah, well, like Mimsy brought out their RV, and so we kind of had that as kind of a wind block. But it still wasn't totally effective for me. So anyway, I put my rain fly up. Thankfully, I have a pretty basic military cot that I sleep on when I'm by myself. And then a Sub-Zero mummy sleeping bag.
Oh god.
And so I
Made me so sweaty.
climbed in the mummy sleeping bag, and I was like, if the rain fly pops off, like this thing's built for the snow. I will not freeze to death. I will be perfectly fine. And I woke up the next morning dry as a bone, and I know I got rained on because I remember.
Is that a waterproof bag?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was starting to hit me like just as I was starting to like fade out to sleep. I heard the rain fly off, and I feel some rain hitting me, and then I fell asleep.
You're like, ooh, that's nice.
Right?
So I do have some comments. Basically, we got Commander Banks saying, I was drinking so much I didn't realize it rained so much. And we got a Brent saying, hell, I've been in the desert where there's rain with literally no clouds in the sky. And then Gilly goes, yeah, the rain was quite something, to put it mildly. Bloody fucking a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I had stuff with the cover. The arcade first year definitely will be one to remember. And then, yeah.
So to answer the original question, yes, working on things for next year, part of it definitely is working on better cold weather and nighttime options. Because I mean, not for nothing, but it's a brand new event. I got all excited about the concept of like a new aesthetic to go for. So I'll just say it. I'm like, yay, warm desert hoe clothes, but like cyber and shit. Like, give me all the hoe clothes. Give me the cheap hoe clothes. And then you're like, oh, maybe a coat over the hoe clothes. Oh, a warmer coat over the hoe clothes. Oh, layers over the hoe clothes. Like, I think Saturday was the first day when it wasn't super windy, it wasn't super cold.
Yeah.
It actually got a little hot that day.
Yeah,
Even
it
that
did.
compared to actual Wasteland was like nothing. I think it was like topped out at like maybe high 80s.
Yeah, but like the whole weekend I'd been wearing like this big heavy coat, and then finally on Saturday I'm walking around in just my vest.
And like getting a little schwitzy
Yeah,
almost a little bit.
yeah.
Like, okay. I felt bad because I made all these custom fans to like give out, and like the first 2 days, like, well, let's see, it's fucking windy as shit and cold. I'm not giving away any fans apparently. And the last day, like, finally, gifts.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, what was like a big moment you guys remembered at the event? Like something that caught your interest. Like, I need to go check this fucking thing out.
You want to take it first?
Honestly, I don't think there was a thing specifically that I was drawn to. More just the surprise of where I found myself in the situations and the environments that were built. I mean, there were a few different little secret bars tucked away, and that was pretty cool to get pulled into. I really actually dug the whole notion of Mega Block. I enjoyed having an indoor space to peruse through the day.
And two-story, which
Oh,
is you don't get
I
at
was gonna
Wasteland.
say
Yeah, I heard about that. That sounds
thing,
fucking
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, if I'm not mistaken, in the Mega Block on that second story, that's all like VIP area and some sleeping areas as well. Saw some cats with hammocks up there and stuff like that.
Well, generally speaking, on the other side, I don't know what the other side of the one with Kaiju and Outpost 6. I'm pretty sure all those upper areas are still technically VIP areas. We just happen to end up in most of them.
Well, yeah, because there are people sleeping areas.
Well, there were definitely some parts of the second story that was designated for people to sleep, and then there was others that were open to the public, but maybe not everybody.
We had heard it was by invitation. Like,
Yeah.
if someone's like, hey, no, you can go ahead and come up here. And the whole idea is so, because everyone wants to go walking upstairs if they're getting drunk in this cyberpunk event, and they're like, hey, what's the one thing we can't have? Suddenly, everyone on the freaking top shelf, and the whole thing comes down on us.
Yeah,
So
you
it's,
can't
I-
have
it's,
that much
it's,
weight
it's
up
the
there.
safety
Yeah.
issue.
It's
This
like
isn't
the
a thoroughfare.
weight and drunk people upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a great.
Yeah.
But-
And so yeah, a lot of it was like you said, it was kind of by invite, and you definitely had to pay attention to like, oh, there's already like 20 people up there. I'm not going to add to that.
Yeah.
But there was definitely some opportunity, and there was a couple different times where you could wander up there, but there would be times you would walk up to like where the stairs were, and they'd be closed off for right now.
Yeah.
So we do have Mackie Mac watching. Is the painting in the LA County Fair? But all my love to this group.
Love you.
Love you, Mackie. Okay, let's see what we got.
But yeah, I think one of the really unique things for me, I was going to say the same thing, is that second story really
Added to the aesthetic.
added to the aesthetic, especially at night. When I was up above the Atomic Cafe on Saturday night, and you got the whole crowd just talking and partying and having fun, and I'm up there just people watching. It really put me in this headspace of I'm in a different world. Not I'm in the desert, not I'm at Wasteland, not I'm at but really like, oh, this is like a whole different environment.
Well, and plus how a Mega Block was all enclosed, so it really gave you that feel of like grimy undercity, dark alleyways, all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like it felt like cyberpunk slums.
Yeah.
Is a good way that I heard a couple people put it. You know.
I really kind of dug though. Oh, beg your pardon. Like with the cyberpunk slums and all of it being kind of enclosed, and then there's desert and everything. The expanse that suddenly exists outside of the main city area.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in like Wasteland, you know, there's things padded all the way through. So I mean, you got to walk a while before you actually get away from people.
Yeah.
But it kind of reminded me, because like telling myself, this isn't Earth. We're not on Earth right now. This is an outpost.
Yes.
And I'm okay. So this is just how I'm going to articulate it. I mean, no disrespect by saying this. But in Mega Block, it kind of had almost this like flea market feel.
Yes.
Like, where you're like, hey, cool, whatever corner you go to, there's something different. When you make your way towards the inside, that little corpo quarters, there's the Atomic Cafe. P.S. Love that just works in both realms.
Yeah.
Love that. Keep it.
Nice.
Keep it. Just like, they're like, oh, it's cool. You know, all the people that
It
were there.
that good anchor point for both you.
Yeah,
guys,
and you know where the spot is. You know where HQ is. But with that whole expanse again, the interactions, I actually ran into a lot more people where this was their first time on site, any sort of Wasteland
I've
production
been hearing
event.
about that.
There were a lot more than I met, than
There were
I was
a
expecting.
lot of new people for sure.
Yeah, that was one thing I was hearing. Like a lot of people saying like this was their first time at any like
They've
event
never
that
been
was
to
linked
Wasteland.
and connected to the Wasteland world, as what they're calling the Juggernaut franchise.
Which weirds me out a little bit, because I'm like, okay, there's suddenly this palpable excitement that you want to have in a conversation where you're like, could I get you hooked on Wasteland? Are you going to be the type of person, because there's a lot more of the raid, EDC crowd, you know, people that are more into that.
Yes.
And then you can even explain Wasteland to them. They're like, oh, that sounds cool, it sounds rad. I'm like, just, even though it's a different aesthetic, imagine all this just ramped up by 10, because they've been doing it for a while.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
it's worth coming, it's
Yeah.
absolutely baller, like,
Yeah.
you want to be there.
Literally at this point, Wasteland Weekend, they know what they're about at this point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a few people, I'm forgetting where we talked to them about it, or I talked to them about it, but it was a whole thing of, some people had said that, yeah, I got my friends out, they've never even been to Wasteland, they didn't know about it, so now that they've been to me, I was like, oh, so there's another event out here, would you be interested? Like, is it here? It's like, yeah, then yeah, I'd totally be down to come check it out. So there's good odds we're gonna have a good number of newbies for Wasteland this year.
I'm super excited.
Mhm.
Well, our homie at the Seashell Cove, he liked it so much that he was going to come back. That was one of the bars we wanted to give a shout out to.
Shout out.
Shout out to fucking Seashell Cove, you motherfuckers.
Oh, that's one actually I haven't heard of.
Love
What
you
was
so
his
much.
name? Slick?
Slick.
It was Slick. I believe
So-
Patrick's his name.
Seashell Cove was in Mega Block 1, and literally the reason I was drawn to it was I was walking by, and of course it's a cyberpunk dystopian blah blah blah, but there's gonna be a lot of like Demolition Man jokes.
Fuck
in
yeah!
there.
Oh fuck yeah!
So we were walking by this
Should
place,
be
and they've got
shows.
like 2 big bookcases, rack things,
Mhm.
and they're just covered in plastic seashell halves. And I'm like, is that the 3 seashells? And I just go running in there. Like, oh yeah, grab one of those. So they would give you one of their plastic seashells, and they would pour, what was the name of their shot? The
Sanitizer.
sanitizer. So,
Yeah.
and I realized that each day they had a different
It
color
was
shell.
clear.
So
It
they
was
had like
clear.
a silver one day, a pearlescent another day, like a pink one another day. So, and you could come back every day and like just keep filling up these. I mean, that's little shots, but like that shit was strong.
That sanitizer had like
Oh, that'll
created a few
sanitize your
problems.
insides. But yeah, those guys were so fucking sweet, so nice. Like we went in there a million times. They were just super cool to have us hang out and like pour us all we want. And actually, there was one morning where me and him were trying to walk towards downtown area, I guess, because it's morning and we are disgustingly hungover.
Yeah.
And we're walking up Main Street, and the dude from Seashell, Slick, he sees us walking up, and we're just like, it's like, you guys doing okay? Like, you want a drink? Like, no. You need food. He's like, oh, you need food? You need food? Come on in. He literally sits us down, makes me a coffee, makes him a tea. He's like, oh, you want a banana? Oh, you want a Cliff Bar? Let me make you some ramen. Let me just fucking serves us food. I'm like, I just love you so much.
Oh,
Like,
we aced it when it came to like
Nice.
neighbors. Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
couldn't have gotten a better
Absolutely.
crowd.
Shit, good shit.
Couldn't have gotten a better crowd.
That's awesome.
But even wandering through Mega Block and all these different experiences. One of my favorite corners actually just was a big bathtub filled with toasters.
Yeah,
I
there's some
actually heard
pictures
about
of
that.
the 2 of you.
I loved
chilling.
that path. It was great. One of the toasters had a ball gag.
Oh my god!
Yeah. It's just like, whatever.
Picture me licking it.
Yeah, I
For
sat
reasons.
there, drinking a bottle of sake in the hand. I'm like, this just seems like a cool place right
God,
now.
this is nice.
Like, and this tub is nice and cold too. Like,
Mhm.
great. Just
Yeah, and that was on the hot day too, so leaning against it like, oh,
Yeah, the toasters were a big thing. Like, I don't know exactly how many ended up at the event, but you saw them all over the place.
Well, dude,
And-
I first met that toaster dude at the Wastelanders Ball in like 2020.
Okay.
Before pandemic shut everything down, and I never got the story, but he was there with one of his toasters and had rhinestones all over it. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I want a selfie with it, like, and then I show up and there's toasters everywhere, like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely did some direct references to the Bravelo toaster because I saw actual posters.
Oh, yeah, on that
They
big
were
wall.
straight up rip-offs of the Bravelo toaster, which is great. I mean, do whatever you want. And then it seemed to be this thing, and Adam was talking about it, or Axel, when he came to the show, was that if you brought a toaster, it automatically became like a stealable item.
Yeah, is that what that was?
And a bunch of people brought them, and then I guess one of the main places that people loved to drop it off was the bathtub.
That was their breeding ground. Like, man, these are tribbles. Don't put them all together. They're just gonna breed. Like,
Right?
Which, by the way, that was another. It wasn't quite bounty hunting, but babe, that was your friend. The little furry things. Did you find them? What are those
Well,
called?
Gilly had a couple in
Woozles?
the arcade.
Woozles.
Woozles.
Yeah, like heffalumps and woozles.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time we got there, we're sitting in
Captain. Is it
Captain?
Captain Commodore.
there was a bar that we kept hanging out. The Calamity Bar. The Calamity Bar.
Calamity.
The Calamity Bar in Kaiju.
Hmm.
And we sat down at the card table, and I see something that looks like a tribble, but I'm like, I know you're not supposed to do character-specific shit at Wasteland. So I'm like, what is this non-tribble thing?
Right?
And
What are
someone-
we calling it?
Like, there was a tag on it, so I assumed it was like someone's like prop or something. Like, I just left it there. Find out the next day, like, oh no, those are bounty things. So if you find them, you bring them back
Outbreak.
to this. You bring them back to the camp, and then you get prizes for finding them. Like, shit!
Waffling,
And then it was,
Waffling Cricket. They had a bitchin' little spaceship.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
that was pretty rad. So that was kind of a fun little thing.
Damn.
Yeah, I know for like Gilly's Arcade, like Gilly got involved in a bunch of different stuff where people would come by like, hey, I've got this bounty game, hey, I've got this mission, can I leave some stuff here? And Gilly, if you want to chime in on some of the details on some of that, but I swear, every time I went into Gilly's Arcade, I was just like, hey, what's that? Oh yeah, it's part of this mission. Come back 10 minutes later. Hey, you got a new thing. What's that? Oh yeah, it's part of this other mission. Hey, why is there a crate full of tentacles sitting in the middle of your bar?
Why
Oh,
aren't
yeah,
there
yeah, that's
grateful
another
tentacles at
thing.
every bar? That's
right?
all I'm
Like that's
saying.
another thing. Like that, and that was the funny one. Was like I show up, I walk through Gilly's Arcade because it's right on what would be considered at Wasteland Main Street.
Oh,
So
he was front and center. He
Yeah.
was the
He was
first
front
up.
and center, right there, right in front. Like basically where the Wasteland gates would be is where Gilly's Arcade is. And so you're walking past it every time you go into town, which is great. So I walk by and I walk in and there's this little crate of like, tentacles just coming up out of the ground. And I'm like, cool, what is this? And he goes, honestly, I think this is what he said. He's like, honestly, like they just kind of showed up and dropped it off. And I don't know exactly why it's here or what it's doing, but I think it's cool. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then a couple hours go by, I come back, and as we're standing there talking, none of us is paying attention because we're talking amongst ourselves, and we're doing a toast. There was a kid there. He had just turned 21 at the
Yeah,
event.
we were talking about him
And
last
so
time.
he ended up getting the name BB for birthday boy.
Oh, BB.
Bye, BB.
And it was his very first Wasteland anything, so he just turned 21, right? And so he had brought some beer to toast, and since he had made friends with Gilly and I, we were like, hey, you gotta bring your beers by, and we'll have a toast. And so finally by Saturday, we kind of got it all arranged, and so now it's like 5 o'clock or something in the evening, sun's not down quite yet, but we're standing there and we're doing our drink and we're taking our toast, and I'm filming a little. Anyway, in the time that we're doing all of this, we turn around and someone had came and picked up the tentacles and disappeared with them. We never saw them come in and take them. Never saw them leave. We just turned around and they were gone.
That's some planet side shit right there. Like, cool, cargo shows up, cargo disappears.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
all I'm doing is running the arcade, which actually, while it's on my mind, if I could make a shout out to Gilly's Arcade and to Gilly himself,
Gilly is here.
because for being right there front and center, like, and I'm pretty sure, I think he said he like kind of found that out last minute. Like when he got there, he's like, oh fuck, I'm right here. If I'm not mistaken further, he is the sole owner, proprietor, and only guy there for his own shop, for his own arcade. He sets up and runs that whole shit by himself.
Yes.
Which is like unheard of. Like, dude, that's
Yeah.
so much to take care of
Yeah.
on your own. Like, yeah, it's So just Gilly, I want to say the effort in adding to the environment and adding to the whole atmosphere is not just commendable. It's a damn fine act. You've done a golden job, and I just want to say that. Thank you.
He busted
I had a great
ass.
time at your arcade.
And it was great to finally meet you.
Yeah. And again, you're doing that all on your own, man.
Well,
you need people to come. You need people to
We
boss
were
around.
to camp with him at Uncle Zeke's. Like, we get there, and like he's already having issues with one of the arcades, and he's just like spending hours on fixing this issue and like tearing it apart, figure out what's going on with it, and then manages to get it to fucking work for the most part when it's open by the time it's supposed to open. And like, I don't know how he fucking does it. He's a fucking wizard.
And like, it's such a good resource to have too. Like, for example, you know, for myself, for Neo, and probably for a lot of us, so much of my costume was so last minute. And to the point of where I had built my, and I've showed it before, but I built my wrist computer concept. Well, I didn't even get a chance to get it all finished. I didn't quite get how it was actually mounting to my arm yet. So I get to the event, and I have this gauntlet that fits around my arm, and I have the computer itself, but they're not secured together, and that's not secured to my arm. So I walk into Gilly's, and I'm like, hey, I need a drill and a drill bit and some screws. And sure enough, he just starts looking through, rummaging through his stuff, and he's like, here's this, here's this, here's this. And then I grab some paracord, and I just start drilling and modifying it right there on the spot, slap it on my wrist. Takes me maybe 45 minutes to throw it all together, give him back all of his equipment, and just wander off into the city like I'd have the item done all week, you know?
Yeah.
So having that resource of like, oh crap, I forgot something, you have stuff, like that was a big help for me too. So that's another shout out to Gilly.
Yeah,
For always kind of having my back for my last minute craziness.
yeah. Gilly just pretty much goes, good times.
I think it's kind of big. We all need to donate things to the new claw machines for Wasteland. Help them fill it up.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And
What
then,
the fuck?
so do yours. I actually have a question.
Yeah, that is container bacon.
So one of the things like at Wasteland, there's those moments where you're like in an event in an arena, you're just like, oh shit, I feel like I could legit like be in this moment. Did you have that at Neo? Where like, you know, I feel completely in the moment, like this is legit a thing that is real life going on. Like we talked about that with Wasteland prior. Did you have that there?
Did you get that spark?
Your shot first.
I don't know if I had that moment, honestly, where you feel like, oh, this is home, I'm actually in the moment. I did have a moment of feeling good and confident in the moment. I guess that's kind of different, but like, I mean, just walking around it with like, you know, like I said, it's that inner city, the slum feel, it was really good. I guess I kind of felt that way Friday night when we were walking in our corporal looks. Where it's again, it's an event, so like no one's really a master at it unless you're fucking Kevin and the costume game is fucking immaculate.
Or like Biggs, man, Critical Biggs.
Fucking irritatingly good at what they do.
Right?
So
Yeah.
like, you know, we're all showing up there like, my shit's kind of basic and plus it's cold, so I'm very wrapped up. But I feel like Friday night when we had a very good, strong corpo look,
We were covered in warm.
covered in warm, covered in like all white outfits, go strolling in and like all the neon is going, and I just felt really confident in that moment. Like, okay, we're here. It's good. It's a good vibe. That was also the night we saw Clickbait.
Clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
a good show.
So Gilly's basically saying, yeah, I helped a few people out with costume problems. Love seeing the crazy stuff people put together. And we got Dougie basically agreeing, like, yeah, sounds like it would be a good idea. What would be good things to donate for it? As in the thing
The
for the
claw
art
machine.
Oh,
machine.
I would be absolutely remiss if, and I can't remember his Neo name if he has a Neo name, but I have to give a shout out to Scott Richmond, who absolutely helped both of us with our our Neotropolis pistols.
Blasters.
Nice.
Made me my little doodly doos, my little robo ears. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
had.
it's very Chobits.
Yes, that's what I like about it. But it was one of those things where I show up like we're doing pistols at his house last minute, and I was like, yeah, I really had this idea for like these earpieces, but I don't really know how to actualize. Like, oh, what'd you have in mind? Because that's what he does for a living apparently as a job, like 3D rendering and shit.
Oh,
So
That's it.
he helped us a lot with our last minute costume bits and pieces, which were small pieces but really tied outfits together. So shout out Scott Richmond. I don't know if you're watching
I
this.
don't know his Neo name. He's usually with the Northern Trade Federation at Wasteland. He goes by Nick, which stands for not in charge.
Not in charge.
I like that.
And yeah, he's a solid guy. Omnidyne is his Neo
Omnidyne,
corporation.
okay.
Omnidyne, I believe.
Yes.
Omnidyne Systems.
Yeah,
Omnidyne Weapons.
okay.
But it's actually pretty awesome because inside it's a big black eye shape with like orange inside of it. But his what is it? The QR code?
Yeah, the QR
Yeah,
code.
his QR code is in the pupil, so you can actually
that's
scan
kinda
it and
sick.
bring it up.
That's
Yeah.
pretty rad.
Like I'm like, all right, that's pretty fresh. And he also like 3D printed a few 3D cards.
Nice.
So it's just the eye with the.
That was one of my
Smart
favorite
guy.
things, was really kind of seeing where people played in tech. Because, like, I'm a big tech nerd. And Wasteland, you definitely have a lot of tech there, but a lot of it's hidden. You know, you want the cool flames on the stage, but you don't want anybody to see the control board that's actually running those flames. You know, you want to hide it so it looks a little more, like, improvised. Like, how did we get the propane to work? I don't know. None of these pipes even connect to anything. Like, you want that at Wasteland, but at Neo, it was like, oh yeah, I built this rad computer and I want you to look at it.
Yeah, see the plugs, like
Yeah.
see all the split ends, all the wired up bits, like.
Like, I would say one of my biggest moments when I really, really felt like I was in a different world was I was walking into Neo and I'm carrying the briefcase computer with me. And I'm carrying my wrist computer, and I'm carrying my personal cell phone. And the whole point is that I wanted to go to Waypoint Communication, which is Wasteland Radio, in the other event, because they had set up the NeoNav app, and a lot of people were having issues getting it to run properly, including myself. And so I wanted it running on my briefcase computer, I wanted it running on my wrist computer, and I wanted it running on my phone. And so I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to head on down to see the Swede and Wasteland Elvis, or he was going by a different name, of course, I don't remember. But they built it, they're going to help me get it set up. And so I'm walking through the event with a backpack, with the wrist computer in there, and the briefcase computer, and then I go into the Japanese arcade, which is also the radio station, and I'm sitting in the back room, where, mind you, Wasteland Radio would normally be set up, but they've got Neo Radio, but the Swede's not even actually running the radio. He's got an AI that's running the radio for him. And all he's doing is going back and checking on it every once in a while. Because if you guys don't know, the Swede is a legit software engineer. So he knows his tech for sure. But he doesn't always get to flex all of that creativity at Wasteland.
Nah.
And the same thing with Wasteland Elvis. He's another person. He's a legit, software engineer, tech guy. But not at Wasteland. He's not.
Was he at Neo?
He was at Neo.
What was he at? Like as a cyber?
He was a different
cyber
character.
Elvis, or-
I don't remember what
He
his...
was Miami Vice, like personified.
Yeah.
All white suit with like a bright pop colored neon
Yeah,
shirt underneath,
yeah, exactly.
the rolled up cuffs, the big fucking 80s glasses.
Mhm.
Like you
Love
were
it.
just an explosion of like Miami and
Yeah,
palm trees and like
yeah.
vaporwave sunsets, and I love it.
Do you have a tattoo of a speedboat on you somewhere?
So
How much cocaine would you say you have on you at the moment?
So I'm in the back room, and I've got my briefcase computer set up, and I've got my wrist computer set up, and I've got my phone set up, and I'm trying to log in all three to NeoNav. And I keep having this issue where, like, we're in the desert, the grid's really finicky out there. A lot of places are running on generator or solar power. And we're having some issues with the power, and it's kind of flickering off and on, and my computer's not running right. Anyway, I end up having to dismantle part of the briefcase computer, pull its keyboard and mouse, pull some of its parts to plug into my wrist computer, and kind of jury rig the two of them together so that I can then log in and get all the stuff. And I'm like, when did I become, like, at what point in my life did I become the hacker I always dreamed of being? Because all of a sudden I'm here and I'm that guy.
You're that guy.
You know? And I'm sitting in the back room of the radio with a freaking AI and Linux running an entire radio station with the Swede, with a couple servers in there, and we're doing all this tech talk, and we're typing and putting in this code, and he's resetting stuff on the server, and we're going back and forth, and I'm just like, Dude, if my 16-year-old nerdy self could see me right now, he'd be like worshiping what I'm doing.
It all comes from necessity.
Yeah,
You're
it
like,
did.
shit. I am this because I have to be.
Yeah,
I
it
have
really
to be this.
felt different because I've never done any of that at Wasteland, and I wouldn't have that opportunity.
Well, to expand on that, and I'm kind of in Summer's boat here, beg pardon, Rill. I'm in Rill's boat where I didn't quite have that, oh my gosh, I'm here. Like, I really do feel like it's a new world, like many of us have had at Wasteland.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that had to do with my own personal headspace, because, you know, all right, what's my outfit? Is this going together? There's a lot more anxiety built on the actual execution of what I was doing. However, like you said, there were those moments where you see the Sentinels walking by with their guns. You know, you see other people they're all lit up or whatever. They're looking like cyber trash, or they're looking like, you know, shop owners or whatever it might be. And then you see people who are obviously new.
We're all new.
No sweat. But I mean, like, where you could be like, this is the first time you've ever done probably this in depth, or
Gotcha.
tried to. And you see them walk by, their eyes are wide, and they're having a great time. They're having their moments.
Yeah.
And then you realize that while I may not be having my holy shit, I'm in space type moment,
Yeah.
I am a part of the visual of someone else having it. And
That's
you
a
know,
good
like,
point.
I belong.
Yeah.
Visually, I belong here. I have a spot. You know, when the Sentinels come by and gruff up someone who's like, looking kind of punky, and then walk by a couple corpos and give the nod, and like, you're like, hey, I have a completed, or at least a realized character.
So I think that was the moment when I was talking about Friday night in our corporate outfits. It was the moment because we're brand new, we don't have a fully fleshed backstory yet. You know, where's
We're just dressed up standing there. We're not saying anything to anybody. We're
So I
not
think
flexing anything.
That was the first time when we developed the joke when we were talking about corporate.
Mhm.
Then we had a story. Then there was things to play with. That moment where you had like a
The chicken.
No, anyway,
So-
continue. That's,
So that was the moment we had a
That's the
bit of a
Taco Bell.
backstory. Now we're just like, okay, so yeah, that was the joke. So again, Demolition Man, the joke is
Well, I gotta use a
Taco
burrito.
Bell won the restaurant wars.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
all restaurants are Taco
all
Bell.
restaurants are Taco Bell.
So
Yeah.
we both roll up
Yeah.
in our very smart all white suits with chicken accessories. And people are like, oh, what's with the chicken? And then I just off the cuff like, oh, we're Taco Bell corporate.
That
Because
was
Taco
all
Bell
you.
owns everything now.
That was
Yeah,
all
yeah.
you.
And from
entirely.
then-
We just rolled with it.
We just rolled with it and we had our guns on looking corporate, like, yeah, Taco Bell corporate, what's up? Like, yeah.
Like
Try to-
chicken
try to
wings
sell
and
some-
chicken nuggets. We're like, yeah, Taco Bell. Like, how does that work? Like,
They actually had chicken wings and chicken nuggets.
If you
they have
don't
everything,
think-
everything.
If
Taco Bell's
Taco
all
Bell won the fast food wars, they would definitely expand their menu.
Oh, yeah.
But if I ever have a faction at this place, I want to be sponsored by Taco Bell corporate.
Yes.
There was
Don't
Taco
be
Bell.
sponsored.
Taco Bell was there.
Yeah, I know. I saw. I fucking saw.
I never saw it open, but it
No,
was
I'm
there.
so pissed about that.
Yeah, at Club Kaiji, they had a big old Taco Bell sign. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, so kind of finding yourself in a position where you're like, hey, I did okay. I did all right.
Demolition after this.
Yeah, I think one of the other
That's a good
moments
one.
for me too was I was up on, like I said, I was up on the second floor, and it's Saturday night, and I'm just looking down on the quad that is the Atomic Cafe, and I'm looking at the crowd, and everybody's in their LEDs, and everybody's all dressed up, and at that time, I've got my wrist computer on, and I'm just standing there, and I'm just kind of leaning against the railing, and
Scanning everybody.
scanning everybody myself, but at the same time, I noticed that there are people in the crowd looking up at me, and then there's also people on the balcony looking out at me and then also at the crowd, and sort of like I'm disappearing into the background for their experience, like you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Just like Homer slips through the bushes.
And then you start, like, personally being there and starting to be immersed in it and having all these different influences and things around me. It helps flip you into the mindset. It helps you start talking a little bit more, like, in character. You start having more to what's the word for, or just offer as far as like playing. You know, whereas you walk up and say hi and be happy with everyone. Now instead, you walk up with your nose turned up. What's going on here? Officers check. Like, you know, you get to start playing more when you know the rules. You know, and so it's nice. It's just
Yeah,
nice kind of falling into that and
the
having more of a synapses firing that direction.
The Sentinels made it fun too, in a sense that like I was walking around and I've got my whole get up and I'm set up as like this anarchist hacker, and the Sentinels come up and they start giving me shit, like they should, because they're the cops and I'm the robber, you know, like it's that game, that's the shtick. And so they come up and they're looking at my little get up and they're like, is that wrist unit there? Is that registered?
Some illegal
Do you have a
cyberware.
do you have a license for that?
Do you have a license for that cyberware? And I'm like, no.
Okay, we're gonna have to find you.
And they're like, well, okay, so we need to ask you some questions about it. I'm like, no, you don't. Well, we want to know what you're doing with it. I'm like,
right now. No,
and so
You
I'm
don't
just
need to see
straight
my
up
verification.
just giving them very short, like fuck you type answers. Like, no,
Move along.
I don't respect your authority, and you don't need to be here. And we're playing back at it like this kind of chest puffing, like who's gonna crack character first, like who's gonna stop and just be like, oh man, this was funny and fun, like, and we just went back and
Like
forth,
nerd
and back
out.
and forth, and finally, what ended up happening was that like somebody else comes up and they kind of switch gears and start on that person, and that kind of moved it off of me because it was like this stalemate of chess where we're just like, who's gonna move, who's gonna break, and we're just going back and forth with the banter, and I loved it.
For somebody else, that makes you perfect NPCs.
Yeah,
like you're walking by and they're like, oh, this person's, whoa, they're bickering with a cop. Like, back and forth, going nowhere. I could walk on, it's gonna stay there, and then suddenly when you engage the cop, and it's nice actually that you guys don't break character like that, because then all that tension that's building, you know, if you both went ha 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 ha, you know, that person walking by was like, oh, okay, may not find a reason to engage.
My favorite
But then when
moment.
beg pardon.
Oh, sorry.
So well, when that cop can suddenly turn around and be like, take all that bluster and energy, and suddenly, hey, who are you? And then that kid's like, oh shit, hold up.
Yeah, 'cause that's how it ended up going. Like our shtick ended after a good like 5 minutes of banter back and forth, where finally somebody else walked up and he's just like, oh, you've got something I want to talk about. And that was some random, relatively new person who just was totally caught off guard. And so like they were all of a sudden pulled into our game.
Off guard.
Yeah.
And I'm a Waka Waka fan. But no, Saturday, the day of the vicious day drunk. You might remember that day, or not remember that day.
Day of the vicious day drunk.
There's a day we were standing in front of Seashell again, and we were taking way too many shots, and when the Sentinels came up and like kind of because we were doing Galaxium, like dirty, gross slumlords.
Oh, I love
And,
Galaxium was great. Was
one of the
good stuff.
Sentinels comes up, we're all
though.
kind of
It's
like,
just
it's just
pop
pop
rocks.
rocks. But we're
There's also smokable Galaxium.
we're kind of like hunched over a thing, and a couple of Sentinels roll up. And one of them kind of puts the gun, like, what are you doing over here? Kind of puts the gun towards me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you pointing that with intent? Or you're just going to keep flirting? He's like, he's got very flustered and like walked away. I'm like, did I just fluster a Sentinel?
Oh goodness, oh me.
I love it.
Oh my.
I will say of all the Sentinels, they did look clean.
I
they did
wasn't
look sharp.
ready.
And I smiled when there was one super tall Sentinel that just had this long beard coming out the bottom of it. I was like, ah, awesome. I broke character when I saw him walk by. I was like, dude, great beard. Helmet can't hide it. Great beard.
Yeah, because
he had like a full mask on type of thing. It wasn't just
They're
a
so epic, no
just a
mask can hold
huge
it.
beard just popped out the bottom like,
the
bro, that's
Sentinels, if
not
you guys
sealed.
haven't seen them, like they're meant very much to look. Every single Sentinel looks the same, and if they're not in their costume, you should not be able to recognize them as a Sentinel. And if they are in costume, you really can't tell one apart from the other. Maybe by the height, maybe by the body build,
Maybe by the voice.
maybe by the voice.
Yeah.
But even then, if you saw that same tall, heavy-set Sentinel an hour later, and they've got a different voice, you're like, well, who the fuck is this person now? They found another person who looks like them, and that person put on the costume. It was just, it threw you off because they were so blank, faceless, corporate clones.
They are
But that
one,
was,
they are
that
legion.
was something that should be there. So I think that they did a great job at bringing in that kind of faceless authority.
Not to mention, if you're not good at the improv or the ad-libbing, all you really have to do is just have like a grizzled mouth when someone says something to you. Like, silence is golden in those moments. You're like,
Yeah.
Oops.
am I digging a hole in front of this cop right now? Like, move on, citizen.
So, you have a comment?
Yeah, we've got Cruise 13 on YouTube. As a first timer, the best parts of the event were when I finally felt comfortable enough to say yes to whatever. Like good improv. Once I said yes to the side quest, I felt a lot more of a part of the world rather than just watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dive in, y'all. That's really the best thing you do. Just dive head first. See where you find yourself. It's like any other RPG.
Basically.
Find someone that's seedy and untrustworthy and do something for them. Like, That'll absolutely take a few days to get through.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think that's like for a lot of the vets at the event. I think for a lot of us too, like I'm looking not just to play in the games, and I would encourage new people to do this too, but hopefully next year to bring my own games for people to play. And if it's your first year at the event and you've already got some, hey, I've got some killer idea for a mission, like I encourage you to put in the effort and try to flesh that out. And maybe the first year that you do your mission, it's like 70% of what your overall big idea in your head is. Do it anyway, because a few years down the line, it could be gigantic. I mean, the first year the Rust Devils came out with their bounty hunting, it wasn't nearly what it is now. But if they had said, oh, well, we don't know how to organize it just right, maybe we'll put it off for a couple years. Like, no, they took the initiative and just put it out there, and then it built on itself over the years. And so there was definitely some people at Neo who had some missions, but if you have a concept, and maybe you only have one mission that could take, I don't know, 10 minutes to complete, put it out there anyway, because it will build on itself.
300 people do that mission. That's 300 experiences you made, and they're going to come back looking for you.
Yeah.
So Santos just commented, getting your hands zip-tied, arrested, and marched back to the Sentinels headquarters was fun.
I did not get to experience that, but that would have been great.
Oh, we found out something new about Santos. Got it.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I also had a question in regards to the event. Anyways, comparing to Wasteland Weekend, did they have their own type of like opening ceremony of a sort, kind of like with the gate opening ceremony at Wasteland Weekend?
Not that I saw.
It was just because, or they were just like, okay, we're here, let's just do shit.
Honestly, I kind of like it that way because there's, I mean, whether this is like proper lore or not, with Wasteland, it's like, hey, all these tribes are getting together in one place and decided not to kill one another unless, you know, rules stipulate. And so I kind of like there being a ceremony, welcome back to this yearly festival that all the tribes get together and have.
Yeah.
Whereas Neo, it's like, no, there is no reverence for the spot. This is an outpost. You show up, no one gives a damn.
Yeah.
Handle your shit and do what you need to. Which actually,
That makes more sense.
that brings light to light, because a lot of people didn't know what to call it, because they didn't know if this was Earth, but Rill and I decided to designate this particular planetoid JSFR 22, which stands for Just Some Fucking Rock 22. So that's just kind of what we kept rolling along with. We're like, again, when your mind starts kind of getting the thing, you start playing with things in your head. You're like, oh sweet, oh, okay, well, coming for like a, you know, refuel and refurbish or whatever, just patches and leaks and things like that over on JSFR 22. We'll be en route in a couple days, like
yeah, like
in a couple orbits.
You're some kind of space traveler, and this is just your stop off. Like you said, you need fuel and repair, and this is just where you stopped off. You don't know this town. You don't come here that often.
Yeah.
And so you're just here to experience what they have to offer. And I think that is a good point. Like Neo, like you said, it's meant to be it's a town that always exists, an outpost that always exists.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some people who might be permanent residents and some people who might be tourists. What do you want to play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know?
if you have no idea, cool, play that.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. I got rerouted from I was on a cargo ship heading to some other planet or whatever the hell. We got set upon. We had to go somewhere else for repairs, and now this is just my layover. I'm here now. Well, you've got a few days because the ship broke. So, dick off.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
well, let's go find a bar. You know, let's sit down, let's talk, do stuff like that. That bazaar that was happening in the streets. I was not prepared for the level of barter that people were bringing. I didn't know if it was going to be that kind of an event.
Mhm.
I know people had talked about it, but I laid myself down with too many things coming to Wasteland to begin with. So I brought a few things, but
You brought a fucking box of Nerf guns.
it was a bag.
A box.
It was a bag of Nerf guns.
Several.
But I painted them. I painted them all up, and they looked pretty
Well,
good.
they were good looking, but I think we traded what,
Two.
one?
Two. I got rid of two. However, I suppose there was a barter situation that was going to be happening inside one of the blocks. Maybe it was inside of Kaiju. Maybe it was inside of Outpost 66. But evidently someone showed up late and their spot got filled. And they're like, well, you know what? It's cool. Just sit right here by the doorway. Just lay your things out, and you know people will be able to do this number. You know, kind of step outside to see what you have. Whatever. Apparently, someone saw it, was like, oh, you're sitting down on the street bringing your shit out? Okay.
And then
Within the
the
hour,
entire street.
Both sides of the street, people just came out through it was an entirely natural bazaar.
Oh, nice.
Entirely organic.
No, that's great.
And that's
It's one
when
of
the
my
trash
favorite
band
things.
showed up. And so suddenly you're like, whoa, it's a daytime bustle.
It
And this
really
isn't,
added to
and
the
it's not
feel of
scripted.
it, yeah.
This is
Yeah.
actually a bunch of people that said, well, I'm in this outpost, what am I gonna do? Well, I've got some crap I'm trying to get rid of, but I lost my spot inside the cantina, so boop. Hey, that's a good idea.
Or it's like, hey, I need a couple extra credits to afford that part for my ship.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it. What can I sell from my collection?
What can I scrap?
It
Yeah.
reminds me back in Wasteland 19 in Bartertown where there was that open air and everyone just started bringing their own fucking barter shit, had like a little swap meet.
It's
Yeah.
I think of denials. I'm like, I like space denials. Fuck yeah. Let's
Yeah,
Space
denials.
denials.
Space denials,
Space
yes.
denials.
For those that don't know, Denials is a local swap meet and we all fucking love it. So
They have some great, like, one-of-a-kind, unique finds at the Nile.
Like
You'll
80% of my
You
Wasteland
pretty much
shit
see
comes from-
short bus day before there every fucking
Oh,
weekend.
Yeah.
I built part of the briefcase computer from some spare parts I picked up at the Nile. So, yeah. So this show owes part of its work. to
Denials
the
in
Nile.
space.
Right?
Now, if I may, when plans for next year type of
Yes.
thing, costume-wise, I don't really know what else is going to happen. I'll let that inspire me when I become, too anxious about it. However, and I know it would cost money, and so the likelihood of it happening is probably not high. However, with the whole Mega Block situation, I personally think and would love if next year they committed and made Mega Block 2 as well. A whole second Mega Block, and then you literally separate them. Here's your corporate Mega Block. Here's all your pretty people. Here's all your outlets for, designer clothing or whatever.
Like the hierarchy.
Even if it's more
upper
pretty
society.
elitist.
Here's the upper society.
You've got the upper society, and then
the lower society.
there's Hackers Alley. There's where all the cables are out. There's where all the shady cyberware and Ripperdoc shit
That's
happens.
the dark side of town.
Well, that's the town.
Yeah.
That's where the town is.
Yeah.
This is where all the money is, and so just having that juxtaposition, because everyone's filtering in and out, and it's cool. Dr. Robato's got his
So it's
freaking
almost-
Adonis model, that giant fucking rocket sticking off of it.
It's almost like in the game The Outer Worlds. There's like a whole planet where all the rich fancy people get to live in, and
Yeah.
and they're all treated with like rich, respectable.
Think of the
Oh,
dynamic.
yes.
Why would the corpos be slumming it in the slums?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would
That's
we
the
be
thing.
down there?
That's where most of the corporate companies are at.
And I'm not saying you can't be in either place, obviously. Not putting up any sort of, well, you can stay over here and you can stay. I'm not segregating by any means.
No.
But as far as the overall theme, even with, hey, there's going to be a lot more white light, blue light, softer lighting, sharper edges, a little more geometrics, and everything trying to look cleaner, a little upper echelon and stuffy. And then suddenly you go in there, you got a lot more of those orange, blacks, maybe things are sparking and a little gritty,
Because there's a lot of influence in all types of
huge
dystopian and cyberpunk-esque where there's that hierarchy class of people in a district.
Money.
There's a
People that
big
got the
difference. There's a big difference between a tech junk smith where it's I dug through stuff that people discarded and I rebuilt this tech and now I sell it, to hey, I'm the brand new Apple store. And which one are you shopping at based on your own position in society? And that could really be a cool, juxtaposition for sure.
Not to mention that opens up right there a slew of different dialogue, story, and mission type options.
Yeah.
The missions. You guys
First
really
things first.
want something.
This is corporate land. Cool. This is the corporate espionage mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to do? Now you got to go be a spy. Or back to that whole cargo idea that that was happening at Gillies. Cool, maybe someone in the upper echelon is trying to smuggle things out to make extra credits, trying to sell shit on the black market. Maybe some of these people need to come up and are trying to just rob these things, but then with real consequences. So instead of it being oh, we caught you, bad, we'll walk you over to the Sentinel booth. Deadass being no, there's a corporate jail and there's a slum jail, and you'll get locked in a particular jail away from your people.
Yeah.
So if they want to come in and do that, they have to bribe, they have to pay, and then even there, a bunch of newbies show up. You don't actually have to do anything. You walk. Oh, we need to get our buddy out. Well, they got caught in corporate espionage, so you better make it worth our while. And then boom, you can play again.
Yeah, it's
More
it's
games.
different
Yeah.
dynamics
Games.
because the charisma to get you through corporate shops and corporate missions versus the improvised sleight of hand seediness that will get you through the slums. Are two different aspects, but you can be the same character and play out in both those areas.
I'll be
and
in
have
the
a completely
slums.
different experience.
Be in the slums, I'll bring a suit and be like, cool, put on this suit. You gotta go over there and get a thing. Make sure you don't get caught.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Big baggy suit, tie doesn't fit or anything like that?
Yeah,
no, I'm supposed
yeah.
to be here.
Yeah. So we got Crimson going again. The Street Bazaar was amazing. A Tron playing music. The Wandering Boba Tea Lady.
I heard about her, but I didn't get a hold of her. I heard a lot of people were excited.
Yeah.
She wanted
we got,
by.
let's see. Santos going. We were thinking of the Underworld as well. Gilly, it'd be interesting to see how it grows over the next years and if they expand Mega Block.
Yeah, they definitely had. I know that some of the, when we talked to Adam about some of this stuff too, some of the ideas that they had was definitely for multiple mega blocks.
Yeah.
Because obviously right now, with the event being the size that it was, like if you compare it to the size of Wasteland, okay? So like Wasteland, you have basically 3 streets that are separated by a block or so, and they all kind of head towards the main stage.
Right.
You know, you have Main Street and then you have 2 side streets. And you have, you know, the Rust Devils and the Mushroom Cloud and the casino, and they're all lining these 3 streets because you have that many themed camps inside the event.
Right.
Mega Block was like Mega Block and Outpost 66, and then a little bit further, still Mega Block and Club Kaiju, and like all these different things. But it was very much like you were on Main Street, and that was the whole city. They definitely have a lot of room to grow out and be like, well, there's another block of this city now, and there's another block that way, and there's a whole other Mega Block over there, and it might be, like you said, like it's the really high-end, stingy, corporate-only block, where like if you're going in there, you're spending some money, or you're
worth money.
Yeah, or you're worth
Yes.
money,
Or you just dress like you're worth money.
or you're scamming somebody.
Yeah.
You're playing that game of corporate espionage. You're playing that game of
A con
hey,
man.
I'm a con man here to sell you, spice that really is just candy, and I'm going to take your credits and spend them somewhere else.
It's like
You know?
for all the glitz and glamour, it's like if you went to the underworld, that's where you're gonna get honesty. Like,
Yeah,
that's where you're gonna get honesty. You go to
right.
the corporate, that's where shit isn't face value. That's where you always
That's
have
where
to be
that's where
wondering.
everybody's running their Ponzi schemes. You know,
Real
It's in
quick
corporate
question.
land.
I don't know if this would ever be possible, but in a situation like that where you're trying to, like a mission, you're sending someone in, would there ever be a way for someone to build a barcode, like an actual barcode, that could be spray painted with a whatever, that was actually readable, so if you got caught and someone's like, hold up, pulls down the back of your thing, you have a barcode that could be scanned, and be like, oh, underworld, criminal.
They're actually
Like, is that a
absolutely
thing?
Maybe wristbands.
Like
So-
maybe a wristband or something like
Because
that.
with
A
the
sticker?
spray, it could like fade and it could have errors.
True.
Without
Yeah.
going into all the technical details, the NeoNav app had a QR code. It was all locally hosted, meaning that they brought the computer server to the event and they set up a local Wi-Fi network. It wasn't connected to the internet, it was just local computers talking to each other. If I took my phone and scanned your QR code on your phone, it would take me to your profile and I could add you as a friend. And we could send money back and forth to each other, fake currency. You could definitely take that same concept and build around it a wanted system where it's like, oh, I scan your QR code. Oh yeah, you're a wanted criminal. Oh, I scan your QR code. You look familiar, but for some reason yours comes up clean. Because somehow you tricked the system and you
Yeah.
beat the system. And like, oh, I am a criminal, but I changed my paperwork.
Yeah.
I got a fake ID, something
Yeah.
like that.
So we got Commander Bacon saying QR code with heat transfer vinyl works.
Ooh.
That could work. You could definitely do like temporary tattoos of QR codes
You can get Mackie
that
in
could
on
then
that.
be scannable on a local
Mackie Mac.
Wi-Fi network. Because if you build the infrastructure of the local Wi-Fi and you work with Wasteland, or you work with Neo, NPC, or whatever different group, Waypoint, you can definitely get onto the bigger Wi-Fi network and have your system work all over. because even before the event, I wasn't ready this year. But I got hit up by the Swede and at least a couple others of, hey, I've heard that you have this idea for a corporate hacker group. Do you want to be plugged into our Wi-Fi network so you can play out your missions? And I was like, that sounds like my dream, but I don't have my missions worked out yet. I'm running up against a deadline here, and I'm barely going to get my costume done. And so I'm just not going to push it this year. And they're like, cool, hit us up next year. We want to incorporate more missions and more things to do. So they are hungry for more. If you bring them something that's developed enough, even if it isn't 100% what your big grand scheme is, if you can at least make it functional, they want it, you know?
Yeah.
And just like, you know, Wasteland has a lot of lore, and people like Axel and Clean Ice, they encourage the lore because they know it draws people in again and again every year, and it makes people want to bring new people. I think we're gonna find that at Neo. We just have to build it.
So Santos is like, Figment, all your slammer arrests will be on your QR code?
I hope you can see that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And my QR code is going to remain glorious.
Yeah, you just
Because they keep kicking me out. So it's not like it's more of, they don't want any record that I was there. Because it's like, oh God, it's them again. Go away. Just, no. We don't need to hear the sound of your voice again. I just regained hearing in my right ear. Go away. You could pay me to leave. Like, we're letting you out.
Yeah.
So one of the things
just go.
I want to run for next year, when we're talking about ideas for next year, is something that I did see, of course, this year, and I even built one myself, is the concept of a cyber deck. I built myself a cyber deck, and there were definitely people walking around with cyber decks. A simple keyboard and a simple screen and like some kind of programming language of I can jack into the internet of this fantasy world, and I can connect and hack and log in. Anyway, there was no cyber deck competition. And of course, the great thing about a competition is that it pushes people to bring their A game.
Right.
Because they not only want to build that thing, but they want to build it and win. And so they're going to really push themselves to be like, hey, I have this crazy idea. I've never even programmed anything before, but I have a basic understanding of soldering. I think I can teach myself some basic programming language, or I can follow a how-to guide online. And before you know it, they're building a full-on cyber deck with an interactive screen. Sometimes what pushes people to try something harder is to be like, hey, there's a competition coming up. Do you want to win? I want to win. I don't know how I'm going to win or what I'm going to build yet, but in like 6 months, I'm going to have it figured out.
I like the sound of that freaking award, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, one of the things I want to see for next year, I really like the weapons competition. I really loved being a part of that. And I would do that again, but I'm also hoping to be a part of a cyber deck competition, so I can really see people bring out more Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and simple keyboards and simple LED screens that you can interact with. I want it on your outfit, I want it on your costume, I want the little drop-down visor that you can actually interact with and see. Like, I want to see you push, not just, is this a prop, but hey, this is an actual visor that's telling me the weather and the time today. Maybe it's something that simple, or maybe it's something like, hey, this is actually a heat scanner, and I can see the heat scans on your body. I don't know what people are going to push themselves to do, but I want somebody to fucking do it.
I think you were telling me about this. I don't know if it was Evan, but someone actually had a unit like attached to their heart or to their chest or whatever, and it came up and there was like a digital screen or something on their person. So every time like their heartbeat, it showed their heartbeat, their pulse, and when they like if it elevated or changed or there was a difference in temperature, the color changed. The color changed on that little.
I can't remember what that was. As one of my friends, they didn't actually go this year, but they were telling me about that idea that they just had, and they haven't even been to Neo yet. Like, so they're like, they really want to go to Neo.
Yeah, like that's
just
such
right
a
now,
cool
like,
idea.
Shit.
look, your own vitals. It's something like that. Your
Yeah.
own vitals. How cool of a concept.
That'll be
of-
interesting.
It was pickleback. Pickleback.
Oh, pickleback.
Yeah.
That was pickleback. All right.
So
Pickleback.
yeah, one
Do
of the
it.
things I
Do
want
it.
to try to
What-
run
what-
for next year is a competition that will encourage people to build more stuff like that.
So Gilly just commented, yeah, I was offered the chance to also put the arcade up on the NeoNav, but did not have the required technical skills that for that network.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. Like, it's gonna, like, I have some technical skill. Clearly. But there are definitely lots of things in the tech field above my knowledge level. But it doesn't mean that I can't learn them. And I think that this is something that could really encourage people to, like, hey, I can learn something new. Or I have this other friend who's super nerdy and builds apps for a living, and he's never been to anything like this. He can help me build this crazy concept that I want. And it's like you start talking to that friend and they fall in love with the idea. And next thing you know, they're building something like NeoNav, but totally different.
And that's before they've ever been to
Yeah.
a place like
So-
that. And then they go and fall in love and go, oh shit.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to go off topic for a sec because I just had a bit of an experience backstage. I went to go grab my little LED blue sunglasses, light up
Yeah.
sunglasses. What I did not know is that one of the wires got cut off. So the moment I turned it on, the two wires kind of sparked in my ear, and I kind of got zapped
Oh.
for a good like 5 seconds, and
Oh,
and
no.
fucked up my arm a bit.
Are you okay? Do you smell toast? Is everything all right?
I'm okay. My arm feels tingly, but yeah.
Buddy,
Don't lay flat down when you go to bed.
that black market cyberware shit, don't go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't
Not even
Don't go
once.
for it.
Not even once.
We got Gak Bunny watching.
I got back in. Got bunny.
Let's see, we've also got, let's see, Santos. Can we see a Gilly's game tournament to determine who was the ultimate program?
Yeah.
And then,
Okay.
Michael, dude, now I want everyone to make a QR code with all the important medical info. So our medical
Ooh, that'd be a
team
good
can be able
idea.
to
Oh,
scan
don't-
a code if the patient is unconscious and we get info on them. If I can make a way to protect personal privacy so only medical can scan it, would be badass. Every episode I get great ideas or feedback, you all rock.
Thank
So
you.
that sounds like a bit of an undertaking, though, going from the playful side of just
Was that bone
info
saw?
to suddenly be like, all right,
I don't know
what's the
that.
security of
Michael
having
said?
it?
Bone saw.
You know, with your own medical information, keep that out.
Macho reference.
Because then
Got
someone else would have to, you'd have to log into a whole system and upload your stuff, and then be issued your own QR
I mean-
code, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. There are definitely ways to do that. If that's something that you really want to push, you got to talk to somebody like the Swede or Wasteland Elvis, who has a bit more skill even above my own. Because I could try to give some advice, but I would be willing to bet that I'm going to give you, I'd say, a overall picture, but not a detailed picture, because I don't know all the details of how to build it. You know? And so, yeah, you could do stuff like that, but either way, just to have that as a concept of, like we said, if you could do like a temporary tattoo or a patch on your outfit or something that then registers to your NeoNav or registers to your corporate company or your missions, and somebody has to come up and scan this QR code to even figure out what the mission is and how to get into this place. Like, there are so many things to grow on that we haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
And we get to be the people that, if this is your first year ever, it was everybody's first year.
Right.
If you have a crazy idea, build it. And by the time 5 years from now, you're one of the biggest camps and everybody loves your mission and your game, and everybody's hanging out at your place. Like, you know, a lot of camps at Wasteland came in with a very simple idea, and then it just blew up like crazy.
Oh yeah.
And a couple years down the line, like, everybody thinks like, oh my god, these guys fucking bring it every year. And the point is like, they may have started with like 3 friends and a basic concept. It builds on itself.
One man in a pinball machine.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we got Crimson going. If we could get the NeoNav network repeated out in the camping area, that would be really cool. Maybe do some solar or battery-powered repeaters at each portopod.
Yeah,
Cool.
they definitely.
Whoever's willing to pay for that one, though, like getting solar out there.
Well, when I was talking to like a coach who at Neo was going by like the whole NPC thing, and then when I was talking to like Elvis and the Swede, like they definitely had ideas to expand it out more. They had limited time and limited resources for this first event.
Yeah.
So the Wi-Fi network will grow more into general camping. They definitely want to push that, but they could only do what they could do for this first year.
First year
You know?
problems.
Yep.
I mean, like now that the event has happened, it's like okay, so we have a baseline.
Mhm.
Are people like now that it's happened, like okay, so next year, people know like okay, so I want to get on NeoNav, get it up on their phones prior to, and then like okay, so once I get there, here's how to get it running. They have that information out beforehand, so.
Yeah, one of the things we could definitely have used is
Signs.
when you get to the event would be signs, because one of the problems with NeoNav was that you needed to like when you sign up for an app on the internet, you know, you needed to check off the I agree to the terms and services stuff.
Yeah.
But
I accept cookies.
But for a lot of people, that page wouldn't load because their phone is looking at it like, hey, we can't connect to the internet. We can only connect to this local Wi-Fi, and we can't run a security check on this local Wi-Fi over the internet to make sure it's safer to use. So instead, we're just going to stop you from using all of it.
Right.
So what you had to do from a tech standpoint is you had to then go in, disable some things on your phone setting-wise sometimes, go into the main mega block city, get the website address, it was neonav.api something. Log onto that then gave you, hey, here's the terms and services to agree to. Cool, I agree to them. Then all of a sudden you open up NeoNav and it works.
Okay.
There was this process. Well, if you didn't think like, hey, I'm going to go talk to the Swede and he's going to explain that process to me, you didn't know what to do, and so NeoNav became useless.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of people who got to the event and were just like, yeah, I don't know how to make it work and I don't know what to do, and I just gave up.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
To have signs up that say, hey, go to this page, do this thing, do that thing, and it should work, would have helped a ton of people. Because a lot of people, they're like, I don't want to go in there and bug that person. They're busy. They've already got a line of 6 other people getting help from them.
Yeah.
I'm just going to mosey on and go do my thing.
Not to mention for a lot of people that are, Wasteland veterans, the notion of having my phone out whenever I wanted to
Yeah.
was pretty, eerie. It was weird.
Yeah.
Being like, no, I don't pull my phone out. I don't pull this out. I don't record. I don't take pictures. I don't QR shit. That's put away. So the notion of not having my phone on me and not using
Someone's
website.
not a media hoe. I've been doing that recently for a while.
Right?
Yeah.
But
So-
I ran into other people with the same thing. Like,
But I don't
one
pull
of
my
the
phone
things
out.
that they
Realizing you
did
can.
was
It's fine, man.
the Swede and some others, they gave out credits to people like myself who were like, hey, you're going to go interact with a lot of people. We created this fake credit, this fake currency. We want this fake currency to be distributed amongst the event so that people use it to trade and sell stuff to each other. But in order to do that, we have to get it out into circulation. So they're like, hey, I was like, cool, I'll take some fake currency. Yeah, give me 500 credits. Okay, but the idea is you need to give them out. Cool, I'll give them out. I'll make up random stuff like, hey, you know what? I could really use a drink from the bar. I'm just throwing out an idea now. Go get me that drink and I'll give you 50 credits. I could do things like that improv-wise. The problem I ended up having was same thing. I walk up to somebody, I'm like, hey, what you got going on there? Oh, cool, I like that thing. Hey, can I tip you with some credits? Oh, I don't have NeoNav set up. I don't know how to make it work here.
Yeah.
And I ran into that probably a dozen
I wasn't even
times.
there and I'm pissed.
And I really wanted...
For
I ended up giving out some credits. Don't get me wrong. But I asked a lot of people, and a lot of people didn't have it set up properly. And then I was like, hey, you can go to Sweden, he can help you. And they're like, I don't know him. I'm not going to talk to someone I don't know.
Hey, just suddenly teach me some shit when I just walked up to you and had no other preamble.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like
Let
a
me
lot
take
of
up your
people
time.
aren't comfortable with that. Of hey, I want to take up your time so you can show me how to use this thing.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know you. You look busy. I'm gonna go do something else. I don't want to inconvenience you.
And people probably underestimated the fact that, we'd be using our phones out there, like for the Wasteland veterans. Like,
Yeah.
you want me to have my phone out?
Yeah, a couple of people said that too. They're like, oh yeah, my phone's dead. It's in my tent. It's charging.
Yeah.
I never bring it out.
Mhm.
Like, I ran into so many people who I asked them, like, hey, can I drop you some credits? No, I don't have that set up. No, my phone's dead. No, I don't even bring my phone with me most of the time. And so, like, there definitely is that, people are used to, like...
Going without.
Yeah, going without.
It's one thing as well, like with Swede, you know, you can tell somebody like, hey, this guy will help you, this guy will help you. And, you know, you got to get over your own levels, whether or not you can approach that person.
Yeah.
But it's not like everyone knows, hey, by the way, this is one of the people that created it.
Yeah.
So you going up and showing an interest in wanting to make it work isn't just an inconvenience, it's validation that it's a cool thing.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so he will probably be happy to help you.
Yeah.
Like, so, and that's not something anyone knows. That's not always a conversation that pops up. We all
Right.
think of the best things to say, you know, after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why it pays off to just talk, poke, say, hey, what's gonna happen here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so, yeah,
That's
I
part of the
definitely told a bunch of people, like, hey, go talk to the Swede, go talk to Wasteland Elvis. Like, you know them from the main event, at least you would recognize them. You know, go talk to them. They built it. They will help you get it running. And some people are just like, I don't know. And, like, they were too nervous about themselves to be like, I don't want to inconvenience them. They're busy. I would like to see more people be like, hey, I'm going to get this working. And I think people will.
yeah.
So
I think
yeah,
we just have to give it time.
we
You
had
know?
Crimson going, I bet on Battle Tops with my credits.
Nice.
Yeah, we heard about that. That shit was like, oh goddamn.
Which reminds me, have you guys managed to check out the Beyblade battles out there?
We were front row. One of my Goblin kids was there, was competing in that, so we were
Awesome.
front row
Nice.
for that.
That sounded so fucking cool.
That was Friday, right?
That was Saturday. That was the
Oh,
day
day
of
of the terrible
the
drink.
day of the vicious day drunk. Yes.
Saturday it was like a
Ooh.
daytime Saturday.
Well, that's the thing,
yeah.
is because it was like so cold and windy the first 2 days. So Saturday was the first day. It was like warm and stuff. We had been drinking all fucking day, and we're sitting.
Shout out
front
Seashell
row.
Cove.
Seashell Cove.
Pretty sure he opened the bar for us. Like,
Oh,
he
yeah.
walked into the bar, I was
We
like,
were
no,
all-
it's cool.
Come, open up,
All
open
these
up,
friends
open
of
up.
his open up,
He wasn't
open
even
up.
there. We bumped into somewhere else. He's like, let's wander by. He's like, well, we're not. Fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
walked us over there, like, moved the little rope and, like, pulled shit out for us and then proceeded
But
to
the
fuck
Beyblade
our
was
day
like
up.
maybe 4 in the afternoon. We showed up front row because one of my Goblin kids unexpectedly showed up. We
Yeah.
thought he could make the event and he was competing in that. And we're sitting in the front row, and I remember looking over at you at some point, and it's just like that moment of like, oh, he's on the precipice of a bad time. Like, it's hot. I'm dehydrated.
I was having a great
drinking
time.
all day.
I was having a great time. I was screaming at the
Until
top
you
of my
weren't.
lungs. And then there was, like, the final,
Like,
yeah!
migraine.
Uh-oh. Like, yeah, it was just like, boo. Like, oh.
Powering
Shit,
down.
I need to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And then also, just because I'm sure, I hope everyone can relate to this at one point. I very much had to lie down for a bit. I think I passed out. I don't know, but I woke up, just like sat straight up and was like, yep, I'm a vomit. Like, stood up, go running around, walk down some stairs that like were somehow just like partitioned off. I don't even know how I got on them. I'm on the ground. I'm walking around at the privy bank that I know, the Portos, sorry, Renaissance kid, I call them privies.
I'm used to that too.
Out of nowhere, you know, I'm dealing with like, okay, straightforward, I'm just gonna find them, I'm focusing, just like, cause the mouth's starting to sweat, and I'm like, all right, just get there, calm
Biggs.
and collected. Yeah, and then Biggs comes out of the fucking nowhere, like literally within 6 feet of me, just like as I see him, he goes, hey buddy, what's up, how you doing? And just fucking like slaps me in the gut like,
Oh!
yeah, no, I was just like, oh, I'm about to puke. He's like, oh, sorry buddy, and I just like,
No. No.
And then the absolute worst ending of this that I could possibly have, or maybe not the absolute worst. I get to the bathrooms, close behind me, take off all the belts and dangly bits,
Yeah.
sit there staring at. I was in the handicap one, so I had room to breathe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But I'm still sitting there like, all right, there's the lid. Down the knees, open it up, preparing. It's coming. Here we go. Nothing.
Oh, I
Nothing.
hate
And
that.
you find yourself just
The
like
worst.
with your head in the shitter. You're like, I didn't need to be here.
And now you're smelling the chemical.
You're like, I
poison.
didn't need to be here. Damn it. No. Damn it. But actually, shout out to whoever did the. Oh God, they did the Wasteland Porto duties and stuff.
Oh, go ahead.
It's the Goatheads at Wasteland, but I don't know if they
No,
had a
no,
different name.
No, there's an actual company.
Oh,
that
Royal
does
Knights.
yeah.
Royal
it.
Knights.
It is Royal Knights.
Royal Knights.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, so
The good one. The good one.
Shout out again to them. You guys at Wasteland did an excellent job.
Because they actually camped out at the property.
And again, It was a very pristine
Okay.
portal.
The people
so
upkeeping the
wasn't too bad.
Portos, fantastic. But I have to say, because that one night, multiple times, some of you going to Neo, and I imagine to Wasteland,
Oh.
don't leave your fucking trash in the goddamn Portos. There
Yes.
was one night.
It is
where
not a
one
trash
of our
can.
bartender
Yeah.
friends. What was the other fucking bar? The Gentleman Loser.
Gentleman loser.
That was the other
Loser,
bar
I
we
like
wanted to
that
give a
bar,
shout
yeah.
out to that. Great
Yeah.
people,
Yeah,
great
great.
bartenders. But one of our new friends at the Gentleman Loser, we were hanging out. I was holding your stuff because you were using the Porto. One of my friends came up, the Gentleman Loser bartender came up to use one of the Portos. He comes out with a literal armful of trash. There's bottles, there's fucking wrappers, someone had like a fucking Chinese food takeout box. Like, don't do that. I know we're all-
Wait.
As a
Did-
community-
did we have Porto nudes?
I mean, it was empty, so I couldn't tell. But I'm just saying, I realized, Neo, it was everyone's first time. You have no goddamn excuse. Stop leaving your fucking trash in the goddamn portal.
Right.
They are not
It,
trash cans.
it was very, not gonna lie, guys, that is very indicative of the type of crowd, because here in the Wasteland community, we all try to check that. Yeah, we all have fuck ups, we leave our drinks somewhere, that's fine. But you can really tell who kind of came with more of the festival attitude.
Yeah.
And granted,
can smell
we,
the burner.
we want you to be there.
Oh, yeah.
We want you to enjoy being immersed in having all that burner energy focused one direction. That's what we're about, is perpetuating a good story. But when you guys start getting a little deep in your cups, you can see who's there suddenly to party, not to play. And it kind of comes out, and we can see that, and we look at that, and as a community, we discuss that, we talk about that, and we keep eyes open. So if anyone ever comes up to you and chastises you, granted they shouldn't be so rough, don't take that personally. That's not about, hey, you're a fuck up, or you've done a bad thing. That's this is the level we try to stay on.
Yeah.
Because that's how we get to doing these things. That's how we keep having the community that wants to have everyone's back, that wants to say, hey, I don't know who you are at all, except I'm camped next to you. Yet, the minute I see you looking a little weary in the sunlight, I'm gonna scruff you, put you at my table, and then we're gonna suddenly make a lifelong friendship. Simply because I fed you some water and instant ramen.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and don't be afraid to fall into that. Don't be afraid to say, oh, I'm sorry, you know what? My bad. I'll do better.
Yeah.
Because all of this, like Hatter was saying, a lot with the missions, with the atmosphere, with the actual logistics of erecting a brand new event like this,
Yeah.
it all builds on itself. Your attitude today is going to build your attitude tomorrow.
Fucking,
And if we keep that in the right, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you keep that in the right, right spirit, if you keep your mind and heart in the right spirit of, hey, it's all about building a better event,
Yeah.
about building a better community for you, me, everybody, then a lot of the hiccups that come, they come and they go. So don't be afraid of something like
I
that.
got mine.
So we got Bones Hole just basically going cries in medical.
Yeah. Santos is going, yeah, I remember Real stumbling across our faction symbol. So chill.
Okay, how many more times are you gonna fucking call me out?
First off, Radio Shack.
Radio Shack.
Oh,
Radio
I
Shack.
heard
They gave away a goddamn Game Gear for free, actual
fucking
Game
functional
Gear.
Game Gear.
Sega Game Gear with Sonic and fucking Tails in it. Like, it was rad. I haven't seen one of those since like I used to steal my
Son of a
sister's.
bitch.
Yeah, and they gave it away. They just gave it away. Also,
I've been looking for one of those.
I have a Starfleet Command. What is it?
Oh, it's the fucking
the handbook,
the manual.
the manual. It shows like schematics for the blasters, for
so-
like the uniforms.
By the way,
They're just giving
Santos,
shit
he's
away.
never gonna let you go. He still gives me shit about like
He
me
gives us
forgetting
shit
my
about
match
everything.
for You Are Waited, and he gives fucking Hatter constant shit about his fucking 19-year-olds flirting with
Okay,
him.
so I'll just say, as much fucking shit as you're giving me, be wary because I will start to throw it back eventually. Shout out to Radio Shack because they were right near our camp. We walked by them a million times,
Yeah.
but we kept seeing all this vendor shit, so we assumed they were like selling things. I'm like,
The
know,
pop-up was down though.
Yeah.
It was lowered. So,
so
I always thought they
Saturday,
were closed.
hot day, we finally walked
Oh,
by.
oh, it's Sawbones.
So,
Okay.
My bad.
We were getting ready at our neighbor's place,
Right.
and he comes wandering up with a fucking Game Gear. I was like, is that a fucking Game Gear? Because I'm a Sega girl
Oh,
all
yeah.
fucking
Mhm.
day. He's like, yeah.
I bought Emery Osby
He's like,
one.
oh yeah, Radio Shack over there. I'm like, oh yeah, we keep walking past. Like, how much did it cost? Like, oh no, they're giving shit away. Like, fucking what? Like,
No.
we fucking run.
Yeah,
And
they had a whole briefcase with speakers,
oh,
they
they
had a
had
bunch of shit
bins.
there.
I got so many fucking Weeb DVDs, entire seasons of animes and shit. You got that Star Trek manual. I was like,
Ooh.
my fucking god. So to be fair, I was so over the moon delighted in my Weeb delights
Mooning.
with an armful of shit just running away like a goblin. that I didn't realize there was a huge fucking thing on the goddamn ground that you're not supposed to trot
You're
upon.
like a goddamn helipad.
Do excuse me, I didn't realize you're not supposed to fucking step on the grass. Maybe you should put a fucking sign up that says don't step foot on the grass. That's all I'm saying.
Get off our lawn.
Yeah.
Sir, there's no signage.
Be that grumpy
so don't
old
make me
man.
feel like an asshole.
Wait.
Sorry. You start talking about lawn, you step into crow territory.
Yeah. Put a sign up, bitch.
Yeah. So we got Crimson going. I will say, I kind of wish there were more general spaces that were playing the radio station as background noise.
Fair.
I like that.
I don't
Again,
think I heard the radio station once, honestly.
Didn't even think about it. Normally I totally bring my own little squawk box. I mean,
Okay.
back when my tribe was around, we used to all have our own channel, and
Yeah.
that was back with the D's and stuff. But
I gotta
really,
take a crotch real quick.
yeah,
I'll be back.
I hold on to my radio, and it's just so I can pipe in tunes. But I didn't even think about it this time, because then I realized, I didn't realize before, but since I'm just holding that radio, people think I'm working there. And they come up to me with their problems, I'm like, no, bro, I paid to be here. Sorry, this is just so I can, just for music.
Yeah.
It's reliable, rechargeable, and it freaking gets signal.
Good point.
Yeah, last time I tried to actually have a whole little radio, literally the minute I got it working, I was like, awesome! 5 minutes, gave someone a hug, bent the antenna right off. I'm like,
Oh.
alright, screw that. I'll shell out the money for a good walkie-talkie.
Damn.
It's not a radio, it's a walkie-talkie. Because I walkie you when I talk.
Oh, is that? Oh.
Yeah, I know, right?
Walkie-talkie is more like 80s.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
Cultivated for like.
from that era. Come on now.
Though, with those pistols that Scott Richmond helped us build, the Recon laser tag system. So yeah, it's this whole, look it up, it's this whole laser tag system. Apparently they went out of business when Toys R Us went out of business.
Right, I remember.
And he went and he procured a good amount of guns, pistols, and rifles.
And you can definitely find them yourself on eBay
Totally.
or wherever. Yeah.
But we were trying to get that working as well, because a lot of Android, phones weren't accepting that program. So he's been putting some powder to the guns there, trying to get that up and out for next year. And honestly, it's like, hey, if we could find just like an arena, throw up some inflatable BS, just like stand around, be like, cool.
The kid I was talking to, BB, he's a paintball and airsoft player. And when I say player, I mean he's also on a sponsored professional team. And so he was like, I would love to see like a real arena for laser tag. And I was like, dude, bring it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I own an entire freaking inflatable tournament set because my team needs it to practice. And so we inflate it. And he's like, I live in Texas. I've got like 10 acres of land that my parents own. And we will inflate this some weekends just so we can do drills on it. I'm like, fucking bring it, man.
Bring it.
We need an arena because I had talked to some people there and they had these laser tags ideas. This was a great concept. But they were like, yeah, at the last minute we were just like, yeah, we'll let people play it through the crowd at the event. Well, that's great for some people, but others were like, man, I don't want to be running through the crowd. I don't want to be dealing with that. So a lot of people were just like, no, I ain't going to play if there's no set aside space.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, well, then somebody has to bring that space. And this kid, BB, who was 21, and he's like, oh man, I love airsoft, I love paintball. How can I do that here? And I'm like, dude, they need someone to run that laser tag shit. Like, really run it. Someone who really knows how to do this shit. You could be that person.
Oh, yeah.
And he was digging the idea. Whether or not he comes through with it, we'll see. But I would like to see that for sure.
I mean, BB, right there, you have a shtick, you have an idea. Apparently, you already have the materials. You can build a character off that. Call yourself the Quartermaster.
Yeah.
Like, Quartermaster, what's this? This is my arena. Have at, like, and then boom, you now have built a whole new section, a whole new aesthetic, a whole new viewpoint that maybe it's only 10 people the first year that come and play a quick little game, but those 10 people were playing, 100 people saw them play and go, whoa, that was kind of cool. What are they doing?
Yeah, and before you know it, you have teams and you have a tournament and you have a ranking of, hey, we're the best fucking team at this event. Come prove us wrong. And you got that rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it builds on
It
itself.
could be like its own jugger or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was something we talked about last time. Is there anything like any type of like sport idea thing that you could see coming to Neo like next year or the year after? Something you'd like to see.
There was a Dance Dance Revolution machine.
Oh.
So there were 3 arcades. There was Gillies, which was definitely like analog and fun. There was one at the far end, closer to like the main stage
The
area.
Retrodome.
Not the Retrodome. That was gonna be the third one I was talking about.
okay, go ahead.
But there was the Retrodome that had a bunch of computers, like Pitfall, shit like that, like some old school games.
Okay.
And then there was one right across the way. I do not remember for the life of me.
Oh, that was Wayward. That was Wayward. That was the communication core. Yeah.
Oh, that was Wayward?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They had a big DDR machine in the back.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I got
Yours was on that almost every night.
I got stupid on that.
That
Yes.
was popular. So many people were on DDR.
It's such a touchback.
It's fucking
man.
DDR.
Like,
Because it was,
I remember trying to stick that shit to my carpet back when I was a kid.
Well, the
Yeah.
little pads and shit.
You
Yeah.
keep scratching up and shit like, no, God.
Fuck!
Yeah, for so many
Rhythm and
people,
Police,
it
Rhythm and
was
Police.
nostalgic like crazy, and
And in the
people
center.
lost their shit over that for sure.
I'm not a gamer. I love playing DDR. I learned how to play my fucking like 5-inch platforms just to fuck with kids. Like, how are you playing in those shoes? Watch me.
I remember when I got really like tired. I'm like, ugh, just plug in my controller. It's like da
Hey, look at me go.
New song.
One of my
Like,
favorite
I
ones when
walked-
you
It's
played,
just you can do it with the controller.
dude, Friday night when we were in
Now
our
let's say with Guitar Hero.
I've got that clip of you where you're in your fucking white and you turn around because you're just about to start a game and someone's like asking you a question. You turn around like, I'm high as balls about to play.
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
And I walked
That's
into
why I didn't post it.
You're there or you're not.
I walked into Wayward a
I'm
I'm
lot.
Corpo. You can't let anybody know
Like that
Fucking
definitely
white.
became one of my key hangouts. To me, a lot of Neo was like falling back into like Tutor said, like early Wasteland. And so for me, back in 2011, 2012, 2013, one of the places I always chilled at was the Wasteland Radio. I got to know the people there right away, and I just always wanted to chill in their space. Neo, I was doing the same thing. I was constantly chilling in Wayward, which is the radio, and I would just walk in 15 times a day and stay for like 10, 20 minutes and then walk back out. But every time, there was always people on that DDR machine. And there was always, and it seemed like there was always another 2 people waiting of, hey, when you guys are done, we're challenging each other next.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
You know, and it was
Like I slapped a quarter right there.
Yeah.
right, and it was friends being like, hey, I'm better than you are, or it was like a couple doing something fun, or it was even 2 just random strangers of, hey, you like DDR? Oh, I like DDR. Let's go
Let's play.
fucking play some DDR.
Holy
you
shit.
know?
And it wasn't just the busted ass like fabric, like, you know, play
It was
play map.
actual.
It was an actual DDR
What?
arcade unit.
Oh,
Yeah, it
like,
was
those are the best
full
ones.
unit.
That's the best one.
With
Yeah.
lean bar and
Yeah.
everything.
So I always hated the Mac.
Oh, the man
Yeah,
sucks.
the mat was annoying. I have a friend who actually worked. He worked like anime and stuff, so he ran.
You knew him?
I know Jonas.
Oh shit!
I went to high school with him.
Fucking A, I love, because I was going that when I'm at Fanime in the
he
game
stopped
room.
doing that a while back. But the one year I went, he found out that I played. Like, oh yeah, if you ever want to like set that up, let me know. I know how to like build the entire set. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had that and the
I'm
one
not much of a
the one where it's like the ARM version.
I don't. Yeah. Like
The
I
ARM
don't.
version?
I don't do
Yeah.
like gaming.
It's like there's like a little sensor ball pad and you just go like da da da
Yeah,
da
that
da
shit's
da da
weird.
da da da.
I love
some
me
Fruit
some
Ninja shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like DDR style.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn, I love some
Or like,
DDR.
what's the new one that they got where it's lightsabers in DDR?
Beat Saber.
Beat Saber.
Holy
Like
shit.
Beat Saber, but early before Beat Saber.
Yeah. He's got some friends that are super into that, and I see them posting about it. It's like, oh shit.
Beat
That's
Oh,
Saber's
yeah.
pretty fun shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Beat Saber's pretty sick. Fucking Ivy got into that.
yeah. that
Yeah,
game's cool.
yeah, because you got that's one of the VR games.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of that concept, but you know, back in the DDR days, so a little more retro.
Yeah.
So off topic, I just gotta say one thing. Your fucking hair is amazing.
Oh, the outfit.
Digging the fucking color.
The heels.
I'm like, see,
Oh yeah, look at those
see,
multicolored.
you put fucking goldfish in there, like disco stew style.
Fucking disco stew.
I think I'll be wearing
Deep
this
cut,
probably
mate. That's
to
a deep cut.
the Neo decomposition camp out at Sabotage Garage. So
Awesome.
And see these contexts that
Yes.
reels with, those are the ones I had when I was doing a lot of grave robber club stuff.
oh, yeah. Yeah, I had
I'm
brought
gonna keep the
these.
comments to myself on that one.
So I think we're getting close to the end here. I think something we want to do. I would like to kind of go through us all and what we were talking about ideas. What do you personally want to bring or hope someone brings for next year?
Yeah.
Do you have a concept? You don't have to have it all figured out now. I'll start in that for next year. I want to more. I came with this idea of, being this anarchist hacker. And my concept eventually is to build a group of anarchist hackers and to have this corporate espionage missions where hey, you hire us to take down your Microsoft and you hire us to hack Apple. Just to give you some modern context.
Yeah.
And you want the corporate dirt on Apple and you want to know if their CEO is having an affair with a fucking sex bot. Like if you want that dirt, we want to be the hacker group you hire type of concept. I want to help. I don't know if I'm going to get all the way there by the second year, but I want to get that concept off the ground for myself and for the event. Also, like I said, I want to do the kind of cyber deck competition. So, Grave Robber, if you come next year, what would you like to bring or see?
So that I'm glad you brought that up because I actually do have something. So I remember last time we were discussing about Neotropolis when you were briefing about it on a previous episode, Wasteland Talk. You said there wasn't a whole lot going on in the tent city area. Like Wasteland. So I want to try to do something in that aspect. Because I remember earlier we were talking about how there's that high upper class hierarchy, there's the undertown. But Yoda, no, there is another. The outskirts.
Mm-hmm.
Nomads.
Yeah. So I mentioned how I want to do my own faction. I want to do a faction of grave robbers.
So the underbelly of the underbelly.
So yeah,
drive all your cars up in full caravan style. So just partition off a whole circle. It's cool. This is own space.
Yeah, so we steal cybernetic parts, organs, stuff from the dead, jewelry, things worth credit or any other type of currency we can get our hands on.
And then sell those on a black market.
Sell them on the black market, and how there's other types of drugs like the spice and whatnot. And since I'm being very repo influenced, I'll bring Zydrate.
Dear gods.
And sell that.
I'm gonna be that corpo dude that's gonna send you a bunch of hot freaking merchandise, and there's gonna be like barcodes or something on it, and I'm gonna track you, and I'm gonna bust your entire operation.
Oh no, trust me. I would see that, and I kind of want that. I want to put Grave Robbers Wanted posters around the fucking the mega blocks.
See if I can just get the Sentinels just to march in en masse on you, just to hold everybody up, just pull all your shit open.
And he's gonna sneak up that. You almost caught me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you need to have a hole and a piece of plywood, and just lie in the hole, plywood, just dirt over the top of it, nobody does it. Wait till they leave.
So something like that, do things in an outskirts area. Make Tent City more involved than just the mega block. How Wasteland was, where Tent City was more involved than just Wasteland City.
Second, we've got Sawbones. I want your crew to come early so I can feed you gumbo.
Ooh, you got gumbo?
Don't tempt me with a good time.
And then Sanders is going, do we drop our Galaxium at Grave Robber's place?
Or in my mouth. In and around.
Just in and around my mouth.
Just fuck me up.
There's a couple drugs that were running around. We also got our hands on some sludge.
I got some sludge.
Ooh,
You got sludge?
Nice.
You got sludge?
I was talking about sludge from the last episode. But I was like, where's the spice? Why didn't anybody bring the spice?
Yeah. So, what's your thing?
Yeah, your turn.
Okay, well, again, part of my pleasure about Neo is I don't have to be part of a tribe. I don't have to be helping running things or barking things or emceeing things or hosting things, which is a nice break. But if there were to be more of a in the outskirts, things to do in Tent City, it's that really funny thing we do where we reverse engineer things, where we're already coming up with ideas for if we were gonna have a bar at Neo. So we already have
Some fun names.
We already have names. If we were going to do a little bar, again, not a big thing because we don't want the responsibility of running something. But if we were to have a tiny little pop-up thing out where we're staying, I think we have ideas for that. We were coming up with bar names. We're coming up with shot names, specialty drink names. So if it comes that, I feel maybe we part of proper the Hoffs.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the conglomeration of different factions, whether they be EDC, Wasteland, complete noobs. I'm waiting to see the sovereign way that that's going to amalgamate into a new Neo experience. Like right now, we are applying Wasteland protocol on a cyberpunk event.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And that's fine. Comes with a few hiccups, comes with a few, differences in
But you go with what you know.
vision, but you go with what you know, and then you start working out from there.
Yeah.
If just like costume projects or prop projects, if it seems too big, take a bite, start chewing. Take a bite, start chewing. Little things, and all is going to add up. And so I'm excited to see these people who have, like, we're running bars, we're running like full operations. They're like, yeah, we've never been to an event like this, and you see them fully a part of something, but then at the same time they're now getting to be like, ooh, I have my own ideas. I have my own little bits and pieces that I want to do, and they're going to start seeking out other people to help make those dreams reality, and they're going to start interlinking and networking with people, and there's going to be a whole new spawn of ideas and creativity and just input from the community as a whole, and from this huge influx of people that are now into the idea of an immersive event as opposed to a con or a festival. It's like, cool, everyone likes to show up and dress up, but there's these new people who now have this passion to be like, no, I want to participate.
Yeah, I
Like,
want to play.
So I'm
We
excited
gotta
to
play.
see. I'm excited to see the hackers, Hacker Alley and all the hacker factions explode. I'm excited to see the people who are like, hey, grave robbers, this, that, whatever. Well, I'm gonna go try to bust you, and then next thing you know, never mind, I want to be a grave robber. Never mind, my character has been swayed by this particular faction, and it's just gonna. It's a whole path of things that we cannot know until we trod down it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you personally don't pull off your idea, just putting out an idea of, hey, I'd love to see this, somebody might be like, that sounds pretty fucking
They
rad.
can influence, and they
I
might
can
have the
build
know-how.
that.
Yeah, they have, might
I
have
can do that, or I can help with
the
that.
ability
Yeah.
to make it happen.
Yeah, and so just by putting ideas out into the community, something can happen from that too.
So we've got Gilly posted their link
Thank you.
to their Etsy store
On Facebook.
on Facebook. For anybody that's interested, arcade patches are available. And then Santos is going. Are we still going to see Glitch's 30 screen project?
Yes, I still have every intention of doing that.
He still has the monitors.
I still have all the monitors. I still have all the equipment. My biggest problem was the logistics of getting it all there
Yeah.
because I was carpooling with other Wastelanders, and
It's
I've
a lot
been
of screens.
It's a lot of screens. It's a lot of power to figure out. I just didn't have it quite all together this year for the next Neo.
Yeah.
I do want to try to work with Mega Block and get one of those spots that has power already. And even if it's only 5 screens the first year, 10 screens the first year, just get it there
Yeah.
and then eventually build up more. Because my idea with the hacker concept is not only do I have my hacker array that shows what we can do that's like 10 screens or whatever, but also throughout the event, I can be like, hey, I built this terminal. Can I set it up at Outpost 66? Hey, I built this terminal. Can I set it up at Omnipost? Can I set it up near the Sentinel booth? And then people have to come to my terminal and hack my terminal.
Right.
They're not fucking up anybody else's equipment. Nothing's actually getting damaged. They're playing in a game
Right.
where they're hacking my equipment in a mission that I send them on, but it's staged somewhere else, so it feels like you're going somewhere else and hacking somebody else's stuff. I do want to build that. I have some ideas I'm working on, of course, with Raspberry Pis and Arduinos and a bunch of other stuff. It's not fleshed out yet. I didn't get it done for this year, and hopefully for next year I'll have a better concept with it. It'll take time. Like I'm on the same boat as everybody else. I have an idea. I was only like 10% there for this year, and it wasn't enough for me to even try it. And maybe by next year I'll be 50% there, and I'll at least have 3 or 4 screens somewhere, and you can play with them. And then maybe 5 years from now it'll be something much bigger. I don't know.
Yeah.
I work toward it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I would like that. I would love to be a thing where it's like, oh, there's 500 hackers at this event and hacker teams, and they have competitions among themselves and hackathons and all this other stuff that goes on with they're creating their own subculture of elite hackers and building upon their own thing, I would just like to be the spark that starts that fire. I don't need to run everything involved in it. I just want to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want it to exist, because that's the world I want to play in.
Yeah.
Alright.
You know?
Nice.
Dig it.
Still feeling my
Are
fucking
you
arm.
about to do the whole dusty trail?
No. Like, seriously, my arm is still kind of whacked right now from the zap
So
I had in my head.
if you have an idea that
To
you
run a
want somebody to run, or you want to
Make sure you don't have to
create
malware.
something and you need some help with it, reach out. You know, post it in our comments. Let people know, like, hey, I got this cool concept, but I need an extra 3 or 4 people to help me run it.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's interested. Post it on Neo Central. Post it on Outpost 66. All these other subgroups that can help you recruit people.
Santos is going, is there anything you wanted to see bartered but didn't see it out there?
I didn't even think enough about bartering.
No.
I didn't barter much, so I don't really have an answer.
I wasn't there.
I
so-
didn't barter much, but something I really would have liked to have seen, something that we saw a little bit of, is, and it will come organically on its own, is the idea of what is the currency of Neo.
Yes.
Because Wasteland obviously has bottle
Oh,
caps.
Ball caps,
And there's
Coyote
some,
Canyon
yeah,
bucks.
there's some other currencies.
Okay, so I noticed most people, instead of bottle caps, they had like little, like the UV reactive vinyl, like
Yes.
little tokens.
Yes.
That's what I got from most people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
I
tokens.
think a lot of those have like 3D. Was that 3D print or just the like laser etching?
I think
so
it was a laser etcher.
there was both. I ran into one person who had 3D printed, and then I ran into other people who had laser etching. So there was definitely both. I think that carries a lot of potential. I definitely also ran into some people who brought bottle caps, and like
Gilly had some really good bottle caps.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And even with that though, like Angel Grip was saying, like, we're applying Wasteland rules to a cyberpunk event. Bottle caps are great. I love them. They're amazing. I've collected hundreds over the years. I want you to keep bringing them and keep doing them amazing. At Neo, maybe I want something different. Maybe I don't want bottle caps. Maybe you brought bottle caps this year and people still enjoyed them and people still dug them. And maybe you're just like, you know what, I'm going to 3D print something or laser etch something, or I'm going to make a custom fucking QR code on a sticker that I'm going to hand to people. Whatever it is, like, there is a underlying unifying currency that I think the laser etched acrylic could be, but it's not quite there, because yes, some people had it, but it wasn't nearly as ubiquitous as bottle caps are. But bottle caps weren't there in 2011. Bottle caps weren't there in 2012. It took time for that to grow, as whereas like everybody has a goddamn bottle cap.
Yeah, right now it's a lot more people who have the laser etching like facilities to do that, and
Yeah,
then who
it's
knows,
3 or 4 groups, maybe 10 groups.
and then another 5 years from now, it'll be like, hey, here's a website that is expecting an influx because it realizes like, oh, this could happen, and we'll open that up, and yeah, sure, make an order.
Yeah, like right now at Wasteland, a lot of people use Bottle Mart, and Bottle Mart knows Wasteland in that if you let them know, like, hey, this is for Wasteland, they'll usually have on their website, hey, here's our cutoff line. If you're ordering for Wasteland, you have to order by this date in order for us to get it to you in time. And then if you tell them, hey, this is for Wasteland, they'll send you back an email of like, hey, your order's on the way, shiny and chrome. Like they add on
They
that
personalize
extra little,
it.
yeah. They know who we are and they love our business. There could definitely be a company that could do that for laser etching, for sure, yeah.
I totally just came up with an idea, going back to like old world stuff, putting QR codes on stuff to just go back to like your favorite meme on YouTube or something.
Yeah. That could be a
Just
thing.
that random, like the old school, like the Badger video, Potter Puppet Pal,
Fucking Rick Roll.
shit like that.
Just trolling everybody.
Just have the QR code
fucking-
on the bottom of the bottle cap, or
You scan it and it's fucking knife
or on a
hack.
chip.
You could do a chip, you could do like a sticker or something. Who knows? Gilly's going, I'm hoping by next Neo to have figured out and used acrylic pieces in replacement of the bottle caps. Because I talked to a lot of, I remember hearing from a lot of people, they printed their bottle caps for Neo years back. Like
Yeah,
before
when it was first
2020.
planned, yeah.
But they're like, I'm going to use them for this year just because I reprinted them. I'm gonna get rid of them, but next year I'm gonna come up with something different. I want to come up with something different.
Yeah.
I like my meme idea. Like, just seeing, like, okay, what was your favorite meme from, like, the early 2000s?
Long cat or night cat?
Neon cat.
Night cat.
That was actually a tattoo idea.
Night cat was one of my
Neon cat
favorites
is absolutely
for sure.
adorable.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
I did a Christmas card one year with Neon Cat.
Ooh.
I had like this little string of like Christmas lights behind it.
I
It's cute.
love it. Oh my god, that's
With
amazing.
the you get a costume on him.
Oh my god, that'd be so fucking
Yeah, I know it's on a Wasteland topic. I know that's a summer project I'm gonna try to do. Is make my own bottle caps. Hopefully for this next Wasteland, because I never had my own bottle caps.
Yeah.
I have ideas to do at least 4 different types of bottle caps. Most of them you can earn.
We can work on that. I have some basic
I just
photoshopping
need-
skill that we can work on
Yeah,
something for.
basically I just need to find a proper person who could art design digitally of what's in my head, because I can only draw it on paper,
I
ideally.
do shitty drawings, but I'm figuring.
I have some basic Photoshop skills. We could do something, but if somebody knows even more and wants to offer their help, yeah,
I'm
definitely.
great at MS Paint, so you know.
yeah, that's about my
Because
level
like yeah,
right
because like
there.
I could draw it on paper, fucking fine, but
Ooh.
when it involves like a computer, drawing on a computer or doing art on a computer,
We need someone.
I'm a 3-year-old.
We need someone like not saying that I'm gonna call out this particular person for help, but someone with the type of skill like Tag Ms. Mayer, who can draw very well and can also create it on a computer. Or, and I know they watch our show or not, I'm not putting this obligation on you, but just someone with a skill similar to Serotonin, who created the Wasteland Talk logo that we often use.
Yes.
If you have that type of skill and you want to
Hit me up.
hit us up, because Grave Robber's got some concepts
I have ideas.
that they got to put out there.
I just had a better idea. Instead of like MS Paint, like I was right on Kid Pix.
I was great at Mario
God.
Paint. I can do
Mario Paint!
all day
Holy
long.
shit, Mario Paint!
That was about my level right there. That shit was amazing.
Ugh.
Oh god.
So like last thing I want to do, I want to share something.
Yes.
Something you got for me at Neo.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, last Wasteland weekend, they got the people who run the event got into contact with a scented body oil maker on Etsy, who made a particular type of scent that kind of smelled like the essence of like Wasteland weekend. And I got that vial when I went to Wasteland.
Oh god, I need more.
Oh yeah. Like, this little vial was not enough for me. I needed more. I should have known better, because I didn't actually check it until I got home.
Oh no,
So,
buy more.
I was hoping they were going to have leftovers at Neotropolis, so I sent this one with my money to buy me some, but all they had was, like, these Neotropolis ones that supposed to be, like, the essence of Neotropolis. And I smelt it, and it's okay, but it wasn't what I was really looking for.
You still like the scent.
It's
something
nice,
that I
but not what I was hoping. Because this really,
like.
it took me home to Wasteland when I smelled this. But this was, it's nice, but it didn't have that impact for me as the last one did. But I like it. I still put it on, but I want my Wasteland vial. Damn it!
I need a bigger one.
Yeah, a larger amount.
But it has the information on here on the previous one of the person who makes them. You can find their Etsy store.
Yeah.
You can check out their other scented oils, perfumes, etc.,
I
etc.
need to email them.
I'm gonna probably gotta harass the shit out of them to say, hey, can I get some of that Wasteland shit you sold?
Can I get a bottle like?
Well, yeah, like a yay tall bottle, and I'll pay extra if need be.
Side note, we've got YouTube. Crimson was going. Our custom PCB cybernetic enhancements were popular. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I'd like to know more about that. I don't think I know enough about that. That sounds rad, though, for sure.
But in any case, we should probably close.
Yes. So a
Final
couple
thought?
different things. Final thought. And this is going to be completely unrelated, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. So we've only got I don't know, a handful of episodes between now and the Wasteland main event.
Oh, here we go.
Oh god.
One of the main things that we want to talk about, that we talked to Adam about on our last episode, and we'll put this out there now. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but we're going to make this fucking happen. If you are interested in being a Wasteland Sheriff or running against me as Wasteland Mayor, we want to have you on this show. And if you are looking to talk about, now mind you, this is a shtick. This is fun.
Yeah.
So I don't want your real world politics. I want your Wasteland politics.
There's no real power.
I want.
It's namesake only.
I want what you, as the mayor of Wasteland, or you as the sheriff of Wasteland, would bring to Wasteland, not your rant about actual politics.
Yeah,
No,
It's
there's no actual politics in Wasteland.
It's very much a mock of real world stuff, but bring it like, hey, I want to give. I want gas in every tank and 1,000 bottle caps for all. Like, that's your campaign promise. But I want it to be related. But I'm gonna put this out there because I've been talking about it, and we've been kind of dancing around the issue. I'm running for Wasteland Mayor. Period.
Yeah.
And if you want to also be considered, and you want to come on this show and talk about why you should be voted for Wasteland Mayor,
give us your political speech.
hit us up. You want to do a mock debate between you and I about who should be a better mayor? Hit us up. If you want to be a Wasteland Sheriff, you want to take over this year's Wasteland Sheriff, you want to help run the Slammer, hit us up. We want to put that out there for upcoming episodes because we only have a handful of episodes before we go back to Wasteland. And at Wasteland probably is where we're going to do these elections for these bits. And mind you, these are bits, these are roles. It's for fun, but have fun and make it real for your character.
Yeah.
So that's just my last thought.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to try my best to go out to Neotropolis next year. It looked a lot of fun. It looked like something I can enjoy, and hopefully my ideas can come into play. And we got Santos suggesting, next Neo, we need Cyber Talk Live. Just plan to start 10 minutes late.
Yes.
And Gilly.
Oh, Gilly's talking. What?
123 days, 1 hour, 35 minutes, or 16 weekends until Wasteland.
Gilly, you always gotta
shit
do
to
this shit. Thanks, Gilly.
I'm not changing a damn thing about my kit this year, so I ain't worried about it. I'm gonna roll up, grab my own same shit, and be like, cool.
I'm all good for Wasteland. I got my
I
ticket.
got some small little things I'm working on. Like I got an umbrella that I need to Wasteland
accessories.
out. Yeah, it's accessories. I'm not changing much as far as my gear.
Yeah. Pretty much my only concern is making sure I get these bottle caps I plan to have out in time.
Yes, Ducky, we need to figure out when to get you over. These two need to help you figure out tent and stuff so you are prepared.
So do you have a final say about Neotropolis or
anything you want to say?
I enjoyed Neo. I would suggest anyone who's Neo curious to definitely check it out next year.
Oh, PCB chips.
Yeah, not much else to say because I'm losing my fucking voice. To say it.
Oh, Rocco.
Oh, Rocco. Ed!
For a last thought, I'm looking forward. I won't say I'm excited, but I'm looking forward to vehicles, more vehicles.
Yeah.
But here's my personal stance on this. While the vehicles were cool, it is kind of small. If there's a second mega block, now there's a place to actually kind of drive vehicles, so there's more of a showcase. There were a couple cool ones. I am excited because I know someone's going to be like, hold up, let me bring the goddamn DeLorean out. And like,
right?
And it'll be rad.
No.
However, I don't actually care so much about vehicles for this event.
Yeah.
I'd rather all that energy get put more towards actuators or movable parts for your costume.
Okay.
I'd like to see more on people. I mean, and not everyone that's their forte, but I kind of like the notion of it's going to become more more augmented on the individual person. Rather than, hey, look, I got a bitchin' ride out here on
who's making themselves into a literal walking human android.
But
yeah, I'm excited to see where that takes place.
Yes, for sure.
I will say, if someone did bring a vehicle to Neotropolis, one I would look forward to see I know someone technically owns one. If they get word about this, they should bring it. Because I know they're released in the West Coast area. Bring your fucking light cycle from Tron. Someone legit owns a legit working active light cycle from Tron.
Well, I have no idea if they'd want to drive that around the desert, but
They don't.
but
It's fucking
I mean,
rad.
but you'd love to see it out there. I don't.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I don't really mind so much about the vehicles. I mean, Wasteland, it's all gritty, grungy, rivets, rust, metal. You know, all that good
It
stuff.
works out there.
Right.
But when you start applying things like neon or actual electrical components,
Something very clean.
I feel there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hesitant to the whole like, oh yeah, go ahead and jump on my ride, or go ahead and get like, there's some finer parts here that can, a wire that can get kicked or something.
Don't fucking eat in my car.
So you never really know how that's going to translate in the world, but
That's very fair.
But from the art side of things, it will be real bitching to watch a fucking completely done up, just like
Right.
little, low to the ground thing cruising by that's just got neon and all sorts of shit all over
Right.
it.
Like
Underlight shit.
if you have an electric motorcycle or bicycle that you can deck out and really bring some pizzazz to and bring it out to the event, it'd be fucking rad.
Yeah.
We'd love to see it. Yeah.
All right.
Light up wire and stuff.
So, in closing, I hope you all enjoyed this cyberpunk special of Wasteland Talk, Cyber Talk. We'll be back in a couple weeks for the family reunion,
Yes.
which we're still hosting it at your place,
At the Bar Nona.
Bar Nona. Yes, which family. Last time we were there with a fucking big family reunion, people just started showing up. So
It was a surprise. We had
It
no
was a
idea.
total
So yeah,
surprise.
and to this moment, we still don't know who the fuck's gonna be there. I'll be there. I hope you'll
We
be there.
know it's
I-
coming, but we don't
I
know
should
who,
probably be there.
what the
I'll
guests
check,
are.
but
Theoretically, so will you be there? Is the question.
And then the next show after that, you've had a surprise.
Yeah,
mystery
apparently
guest.
we have a mystery guest for the next show after the family reunion, which me and Hatter have no other fucking idea who it
They
is.
don't have a goddamn
But
clue.
Figment is the one that's plotting this shit. So
Figment's
we
plotting
have a
lot of
surprise
shit
guest.
right now, because your birthday is coming
And-
up.
Yeah,
we-
it's my birthday month. Hi, how you doing?
And we put this out there before. If you want to be a surprise guest,
You talk
you
to
need
Figment.
to talk to Figment because we
Bex
do,
Wick on
we,
Facebook.
We
Oh,
do
that's
live
so
in a gated apartment community. Somebody's gonna have to let you in.
So you have
Somebody
to have
needs to know
contact with
you're
somebody.
coming. So contact Figment. They're not gonna tell Commodore or myself
I'm telling
who
shit.
you are, just that you're coming this particular day.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a surprise guest, yeah, hit them up.
So yeah, these next couple episodes are going to be very an experience
We're
for
gonna
us
be
all.
busy as fuck.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So
Dear God.
I'm Grave Robber.
Glitch.
Angel Grips.
Real.
This was Cyber Talk. Hope you all enjoy. We'll see you all in the waste
Yes.
for the family reunion episode.
Woo!
Thank you very much.
Gotcha.
Station
Station.
Station to station.
and Sultan.
Oh my
down.
god. Oh my god. This is the house
And
of
see.
Do the thing.
Warning, warning, warning. Energy cells exhausted. Exhausted. Warning. 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 to know more? Would you like to know more?
Okay, I'm gonna make. Okay, hold on. Let me get on camera here. I'm gonna make one last shout out to Davey Adams, or the Good Doctor, who created this song that we use today for our credits. If you guys love Wasteland, of course, and you want to support Wastelanders and you want to support Wasteland artists, look up the Good Doctor on Bandcamp and buy some of his music, because he's another Wastelander who makes. It's more cyberpunk, sci-fi music, so it's not necessarily going to always work for Wasteland, but we use it here for Neotropolis. So go check out his stuff, and thank you all for joining us.
We're still fucking live?
Yeah.